Naruto. I have 100-fold return system. Bind with Uchiha Sasuke at first. Chapter 21. Because they didn't know when Kakashi would come, Yagyu asked Sasuke to live in the Moonlight Clan temporarily. But unexpectedly, Kakashi came early the next morning. At this time, Kakashi didn't seem to be as lazy and unpunctual as he was later. At least when facing the task, Kakashi was still very serious. Hatake Kakashi first went to find the person who issued the task, Moonlight Kimin, and then came to Yagyu. Are you Gecko Yagyu? It's me, Hatake Kakashi. I will be responsible for teaching you how to practice the nature changes of fire and lightning chakras. He is. My friend, is it okay to let him watch from the side? Kakashi looked at Sasuke and felt that he looked familiar. Especially those eyes, it seemed that he had seen them somewhere before. It doesn't matter, even if you want to learn together. It stands to reason that teaching two people should charge double the money, but money doesn't mean anything to Kakashi. In these years in the Anbu, he has earned enough money that he can't spend in his lifetime. In that case, you can just teach him. Yagyu suddenly said excitedly. Kakashi, Sasuke. Seeing the two of them confused, Yagyu found an excuse and said, I'm a genius. I can learn it just by watching you practice. Kakashi was speechless, but he couldn't do whatever Yagyu thought. This was his mission, so he would definitely complete it strictly. No, I can let him learn, but I can't let you not learn. If you don't learn, I can understand that you terminate the mission, and I will not teach you, nor can I teach him. Looking at Kakashi's serious face, Yagyu was helpless. Why is this guy so rigid? Got it. I'll learn from you. Yeah, Kakashi responded indifferently, and then said to the two, come with me, we are going to another training ground to practice. Yagyu and Sasuke followed Kakashi to a desert next door. This so-called training ground was no longer within the scope of Konoha. It's too hot here. Yagyu was as frustrated as a puppy sticking out its tongue. Sasuke didn't make an exaggerated expression like him, but the sweat between his eyebrows also showed that he was not feeling well. Kakashi ignored their emotions and asked, have you all taken chakra test strips? The task is to teach Yagyu the changes in the nature of chakras and fire and lightning release. It is a bit redundant to ask this question. After all, who would spend so much money to hire a tutor if they don't have chakra of this attribute? But Kakashi still asked with his rigorous character. I've tested it, and he doesn't have it. Yagyu pointed at Sasuke and said, but I think he must have these two types of chakra. Kakashi didn't want him to think, and directly took out two test strips from his waist. Input chakra. Although Yagyu felt that this was unnecessary, he didn't say anything. It was not a big deal anyway. Instead of wasting time arguing, it was better to test it again. Yagyu and Sasuke inputted their chakra into the test paper, and soon two situations occurred. Half of the test paper burned, and the other side became wrinkled. Fire attribute, thunder attribute. Kakashi was a little surprised that both of them had dual attribute chakra. Such a coincidence. Although it was unexpected, Kakashi did not think much about it and directly began to formulate the first step of the training plan. Have you ever learned fire and lightning ninjutsu? Learned fire release ninjutsu. Then show me your best fire style. Fire style. Great Dragon Fire style. Yagyu and Sasuke released ninjutsu together. Two huge fire dragons soared in the sky, and finally fell to the ground and exploded. Kakashi. B-level ninjutsu. B-level ninjutsu is already considered a high-level ninjutsu. In other words, Sasuke and Yagyu actually have at least a certain understanding of the nature changes of fire attribute chakra, otherwise they would not be able to learn this ninjutsu. The training of fire attribute chakra is divided into 3 stages, but it seems that you have already completed the first 2 stages without realizing it. The third stage is to combine fire attribute chakra with techniques to create new ninjutsu. You can choose to practice this training. Having said that, Kakashi still tested the two's control over fire attribute chakra. First is the first stage, burning. Kakashi got them 2 piles of hay from nowhere and asked them to release chakra to ignite them. This test was naturally a piece of cake for the two. The dry grass piles caught fire in this hot Gobi desert. It burned out in a short while. The firelight was reflected on Yagyu's face, and the heat made him look up at the sun in the sky. In this horrible weather, even without chakra to ignite it, This pile of hay will ignite itself, right? The second stage is to release a more powerful flame. Unlike the ninjutsu released by hand seals, what Yagyu and Sasuke have to do is to release as much chakra as possible, and then ignite this Gobi desert without a single hair. Without using the technique, Sasuke is obviously not used to releasing a large amount of fire attribute chakra. Yagyu, on the other hand, easily ignited hundreds of meters of desert. He was 100 times more proficient in controlling chakra than Sasuke. No ignition is needed. Chakra is released from Yagyu's body, floating in the air and burning itself, creating a powerful flame. The dry desert is as terrible as a mountain of fire. Kakashi also discovered the situation of the two, and gave Yagyu a simple instruction, asking him to think about how to combine fire attribute chakra with techniques and hand seals, and then went to teach Sasuke. Sasuke's chakra is not enough, and under Kakashi's strict teaching, it took only a few minutes to use up all the chakra. You take a rest first, and think about how to combine fire chakra with the technique. I'll go see Yagyu. In the shadow of the desert, Yagyu did not listen to Kakashi's words and concentrate on the development of fire escape ninjutsu, but took a nap here to enjoy the cool. So when Kakashi found him, his whole face was black. Moonlight Yagyu. Ah. Yagyu yawned and looked at Kakashi with sleepy eyes. What's wrong? What's wrong? You ask me what's wrong. I asked you to study hard, but you were dozing off. Do you really think you are invincible just because you are a genius? Even if you are a genius, if you don't work hard, you will be surpassed by others sooner or later. Kakashi said meaningfully. In his opinion, Sasuke is very hardworking and talented. He can learn B-level fire escape ninjutsu at the age of 10. Now Yagyu seems to have a higher talent and has surpassed Sasuke temporarily, but in time, Sasuke will definitely surpass Yagyu. Then wait until you surpass me. Yagyu said nonchalantly, and Kakashi-senpai, if you don't work hard to practice, it won't be long before you are surpassed first. Kakashi, with Sasuke and Yagyu's talents, they may surpass him in the next few years. Of course, the premise is that they can keep improving at the current speed. Kakashi doesn't believe that Sasuke and Yagyu can keep improving at this speed. After all, they are only 10 years old, and their physical fitness can't compare with him as an elite jonin. Moreover, they are not from the Uzumaki clan, and their chakra also limits their growth. Then wait until you surpass me, and now continue to practice. Kakashi returned Yagyu's words to him. Got it, got it. Yagyu looked helpless, got up and continued to study the relationship between the so-called fire attribute chakra and the technique. However, after just thinking for a moment, Yagyu felt tired. He really had no interest in developing ninjutsu. It would be nice if there was a ready-made ninjutsu that I could copy. Copy. It's a bit difficult for Yagyu to create something from nothing, but it seems to be much easier from 1 to 2. Carefully recalling the fire ninjutsu in his mind, they are: fire style, big flame bomb, fire style, ash burning, fire style, head burning, fire style, storm dance, etc. These ninjutsu are all B-level ninjutsu, and the difference between them is the shape of the flame and the attack range. The flame is like a missile, which is the big flame bomb. The one that produces power in the form of an explosion is ash burning. The flame forms a sea of fire as head burning. The flame turns into a vortex shape as storm dance. Thinking of this, Yagyu gathered a small chakra flame in his hand. Fire style, lighter. What if I enlarge this flame? Yagyu began to release more chakra, and a huge fireball appeared. As he continued to increase the chakra, the fireball became bigger and bigger. As Yagyu threw it out, it caused an explosion, and its power was no weaker than the Great Dragon Fire technique. B-level ninjutsu without seals. Yagyu found that he seemed to have done something incredible. Why could he release ninjutsu without seals? Didn't I know when I ate the flame fruit? Yagyu thought about it carefully and attributed it to his control over chakra. At this time, Sasuke's control over chakra had reached a very high level, and the training of treading water and climbing trees was a few years ago. And Yagyu's control over chakra is 100 times that of Sasuke. If I can completely control the chakra, does it mean that no matter what level of ninjutsu I can release, it is up to me to think about it? Although Yagyu has not learned fire escape techniques above B level, as long as he releases enough chakra, even B-level fire escape techniques can exert the power of S-level. Just like Uchiha Madara releasing the Great Fire Extinguishing technique. After figuring this out, Yagyu played for a while, trying to turn the flames into sparks, fire bombs, fireballs, flame whirlpools and many other shapes. Yagyu even wanted to create a fire giant. But even Yagyu's chakra is not enough to make this ideal fire giant exist for long. Moreover, the defense and attack of this fire giant are average, and there is little meaning in its existence. In the end, it is estimated that it is just a bluff. Unless it is wrapped with a Susanoo inner nuclear. In just one day, Yagyu completely mastered the changes in the nature of fire-attributed chakra. However, he did not tell Kakashi, because Sasuke still needed his teaching. The next day, Kakashi wanted to check Yagyu's practice results. As Kakashi wished, Yagyu demonstrated the lighter technique he developed. The exquisiteness of this technique shocked Kakashi speechless, and he told him to keep working hard. So Yagyu demonstrated lighter technique 2.0 in the next few days. The lighters on 2 fingers can light 2 cigarettes at the same time. After seeing it, Kakashi was amazed and told Yagyu to go aside and continue practicing. On the 3rd day, lighter technique 3.0. On the 4th day, lighter technique 4.0. Until the 10th day, Sasuke mastered the change of the nature of fire attribute chakra, enhanced the burning characteristics of flames, and raised its temperature and lethality to a great level. Kakashi asked him to stop studying fire escape ninjutsu and start practicing the control of the change of lightning attribute chakra. His task requirement was to teach Gekko Yagyu to master the change of fire attribute and lightning attribute chakra, rather than to teach Yagyu to develop advanced ninjutsu. In other words, the 3rd stage of developing ninjutsu after mastering the attribute change was not what Kakashi needed to teach. In addition, Yagyu's perfunctory attitude made Kakashi give up the idea of teaching Yagyu more knowledge. He now just wanted to finish the task safely and steadily, so that he could have an additional B-level task value on his resume. Such emotions made Kakashi no longer care about the task, so much so that he gave up his special care for Sasuke. From this day on, Kakashi only told Yagyu and Sasuke about the training tasks every day, and spent the rest of the time reading books to pass the time. Even Kakashi learned to be late and leave early, and was no longer the elite ninja of the Anbu who treated the tasks meticulously. If it were any other employer, they would definitely sue Kakashi for his behavior and demand a full refund of his salary. But Kakashi had a similar idea, and Yagyu just appreciated this point about him and didn't make any accusations at all, which made Kakashi quite helpless. Time passed quietly, and half a year had passed before he knew it. In half a year, Sasuke finally learned the lowest level of lightning release ninjutsu from scratch and mastered the changes in the nature of lightning attributed chakra. Yagyu mastered it several months earlier than Sasuke, but in order to give Sasuke more time to improve, he did not tell Kakashi that his mission was over. Ding! The person you are bound to has mastered the ninjutsu lightning release, Chidori. You get 100 times the return. Lightning release. Chidori proficiency plus 100, current proficiency is proficient. Special treatment. I was backstabbed by the teacher I paid for. Yagyu didn't expect Kakashi to become Sasuke's teacher. He was perfunctory and careless when teaching him, and he even taught Sasuke his own unique skills. Yagyu was a little speechless. Kakashi was too partial. But the other party had always disliked him, so it was not surprising that this happened. After Sasuke learned Chidori, Kakashi ended the mission and stopped teaching them how to practice. Sasuke wanted to challenge Yagyu to a competition. Apparently, after learning Chidori, he was already too proud. Yagyu also knew what Sasuke was thinking. In order to prevent Sasuke from becoming too proud to recognize himself and making slow progress in the future, Yagyu used 70% of his strength to fight him. Although the Sharingan is really powerful when combined with Chidori, the speed increase of Chidori almost makes up for the speed difference between Sasuke and Yagyu. But Yagyu still killed him within 10 rounds. If Yagyu didn't want to let Sasuke recognize the difference and crush Sasuke in all aspects, he could even finish him off in 3 rounds. Practice well. Although you have mastered a fairly powerful ninjutsu, it is not enough. Only S-level ninjutsu can make it possible for you to defeat me. Kill Uchiha Itachi. Sasuke, who was hit again, lay on the ground with no desire to live. He didn't understand why every time he made progress, Yagyu would make greater progress than him. Thinking back to the early days, he could still fight with Yagyu for 100 rounds, but now he could only last 10 rounds because the other party let him win. I have become weaker. No, he has become stronger too quickly. Sasuke loosened his unwilling fist. Yagyu was his fellow tribesman, and it was not a bad thing for Sasuke that he became stronger quickly. Because it meant that he had an opponent who he always needed to challenge, to urge himself to improve. It also meant that he could know the truth faster and kill Uchiha Itachi. In the Hokage building, Kakashi came to collect the reward for the task. Mission accomplished. Sarutobi Hiruzen's face was full of surprise. Only half a year has passed, and he has already mastered the nature changes of lightning and fire attribute chakra. It's not him, it's them. They, who else? Uchiha Sasuke. Kakashi said, when I went to teach them, they already had a high level of control over fire style. They were only 10 years old and could perform B-level fire style ninjutsu. At the age of 10, they have B-level fire escape, and they have mastered the nature change of dual attribute chakra. If they have the talent to develop ninjutsu, there will be 2 of you in the future, Kakashi. Sarutobi Hiruzen said, his mouth corners unconsciously raised. Obviously he was very happy that the village had these 2 geniuses. It would be better if they could recruit them to the Anbu earlier and let them follow him and accept the influence of the will of fire. It's a pity that they are still in school. Kakashi, I want to recruit them into the Anbu, what do you think? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked Kakashi. Kakashi was silent for a moment, then said, that Uchiha Sasuke has a dark mentality. If we recruit him into the Anbu, I'm worried that his mentality will be distorted. Indeed, after all, his family was destroyed by his own brother. It would be better to let him graduate normally and develop some feelings with his classmates. What about Gekko Yagyu? Kakashi was silent again, and said, he has great talent, but he is a bit lazy. I think he might refuse to join the Anbu. Refuse to join the Anbu? Sarutobi Hiruzen was obviously a little bit unbelievable about Kakashi's inference. There was actually a kid in Konoha who would refuse the invitation of the Hokage. Lazy. How lazy could he be? Is there really a kid who is so lazy that he doesn't even give face to him, the Hokage? Sarutobi Hiruzen felt that he should get in touch with this Gekko Yagyu. After all, he is a genius comparable to Kakashi, and he has a very clean background. From a certain perspective, he is more valuable to be cultivated than Sasuke. I see, you go out first, and call Hayate over for me. Kakashi nodded, yes. Soon, Moonlight Hayate, wearing an Anbu mask, came to the Hokage's office. Are you looking for me? Well, I want to ask you something about Gekko Yagyu. Yagyu, did he do something wrong? No, you don't need to be nervous, I just want to recruit Yagyu into the Anbu, what do you think? Anbu. Yagyu, the Zemian clan leader has been training him as his successor. So that's it. What kind of person do you think Yagyu is? The face of Yugong Zemian obviously doesn't work well with Sarutobi Hiruzen. The heir of a small family still wants to have privileges. Do you think you are the patriarch of the Hyuga clan? Yagyu is a true genius. He has no flaws except being a little lazy and a bit fickle. Lazy and flirtatious. It was really hard for Sarutobi Hiruzen to associate these 2 adjectives with a 10-year-old child. In the past, he only knew from Iruka that there was a genius named Gekko Yagyu who overpowered Uchiha Sasuke. He didn't know anything else about Yagyu. Now it seemed that he had miscalculated. If he had paid more attention to Yagyu's psychological growth earlier, perhaps Yagyu would have become an excellent successor to the Will of Fire. Iruka is not a very competent teacher. Sarutobi Hiruzen said something to Iruka in his mind. Do you think Yagyu will refuse to join the Anbu? Ahem. Hokage-sama, the leader of the Zemian clan. I only ask Yagyu's opinion. Sarutobi Hiruzen waved his hand to stop Hayate. Moonlight Hayate had a complicated expression on his face, but after thinking for a while he said, I think he will refuse. Because of laziness. I understand. You go down first. Yes, Hokage-sama. Sarutobi Hiruzen held his forehead. How could a ninja disobey the will of fire just because he was lazy? Back to Yagyu Sasuke. After being taught a lesson by Yagyu, Sasuke put away his arrogant spirit and continued to practice. And under Yagyu's guidance, he began to develop a new lightning ninjutsu based on Chidori. The purpose is to develop a powerful enough S-level ninjutsu. At the same time, in addition to slacking off and flirting with girls every day, Yagyu actually began to explore new ninjutsu. Of course, this is not a hard job. Yagyu's so-called research on ninjutsu is just lying on a bench in the training ground and playing with chakra. Like fire style, fire fist and lightning style. Thunder fist. The fire and lightning fist that can be released without hand seals can destroy all objects within a radius of dozens of meters. There are also fire style, fire sword and lightning style, thunder sword, which are used to replace the swordsmanship moves in case you don't have weapons. Then there are fire style, fire god and thunder style, thunder god, two techniques that failed but were not abandoned by Yagyu. These two techniques use giants transformed by fire and thunder to fight. They are not very practical, but very bluffing. Even Sasuke was shocked when he saw it for the first time, thinking that Yagyu had developed an incredible S-level ninjutsu. But in fact, this jutsu only has the form, but not the meaning. It looks like an S-level ninjutsu, but it does not have the power of an S-level ninjutsu. Yagyu classified it as a failed ninjutsu. And among the ninjutsu that Yagyu failed to research, this is certainly not the only one. Yagyu also tried to fuse the two attributes of lightning and fire to release ninjutsu, but there seemed to be some rules involved, and no matter how Yagyu controlled the chakra, he could not do it. He thought about asking Sasuke to help develop these jutsu, but Sasuke's control over chakra is not as good as his, and he does not have as much chakra as he does. So he can't count on him at all. Chidori, sharp spear. As Sasuke thrust the lightning spear at a wooden stake, a voice flashed through Yagyu's mind. Ding! The object you are bound to has developed the ninjutsu thunder release. Chidori sharp spear. You get 100 times return. Lightning release. Chidori sharp spear proficiency plus 100, current proficiency is proficient. Chidori, how about I make a Rasengan? I remember that the first time Naruto could fight Sasuke was when he mastered the Rasengan. The Rasengan is an attributeless ninjutsu, and Naruto can fuse wind escape into it, so can I fuse fire escape and lightning escape. When he completely mastered the changes in the nature of fire attribute chakra, Yagyu thought that S-level ninjutsu was easy. Just like the previous great fire extinguishing, the more chakra, the greater the power. Yagyu took it for granted that this was the difference between S-level ninjutsu and B-level ninjutsu, but the fire release. Fire God and Fire Release. Thunder God, who had always failed, told him that this was not the case. The gap between S-level ninjutsu and other levels of ninjutsu is definitely not just the gap in chakra amount. If Naruto can fuse Rasengan and Wind Release to create an S-level ninjutsu, then why can't he fuse Thunder Release and Fire Release? Maybe we can give it a try. Yagyu thought it was feasible, so he began to think about the practice method of Rasengan in his mind. The first stage seems to be to integrate the chakra into the palm of the hand. As Yagyu kept muttering, his hands kept moving. As the chakra condensed in Yagyu's hands, a chakra ball with no attributes appeared in Yagyu's hands. So easy. Yagyu didn't expect that he could do it so easily. Could it be because of his control over chakra? The second stage seems to be to use the attributeless chakra to rotate in a balloon filled with water, and then burst the balloon. Sakura, could you please buy me some balloons? Of course, wait for me. I'll be back soon. Sakura and the other two will come to accompany him whenever they are free. Ino has to help her family sell flowers today, so she doesn't have time to come. Hinata was also left by her father to practice soft fist and couldn't come out. Only Sakura can run errands for him. If Sakura is not here, Yagyu can only let Sasuke run errands for him. At this time, in the training ground, Sasuke was still mastering the use of the newly developed ninjutsu, Thunder Release, and Chidori Sharp Spear. He seemed very busy, but if Yagyu told him to, he would still put down his practice and run errands. This is Yagyu's face. After a while, Sakura came back with a few balloons. Yagyu-kun, I got the balloon back. Thank you for your hard work. Could you please help me fill the balloons with water? Of course, wait for me for a moment. Sakura, who had just returned, ran to the stream in the distance to fill up with water. Soon, several balloons filled with water were placed next to Lu Sheng. Is there anything else I can help you with, Yagyu-kun? No need, take a rest. Thank you for your hard work. It's not hard. Sakura smiled, then walked to sit next to Yagyu. Let me massage your legs. Well, thank you for your help. It's not a problem, Sakura said seriously, and then she began to massage Yagyu's legs. You never know how active a girl can be. Yagyu enjoyed Sakura's massage and began to study the second stage of the Rasengan. Stable and continuous release of chakra. Spin, spin. Bang. As the water ball exploded, it meant that Lu Sheng had completed the second stage of training. Strange, why is it unexpectedly easy? Am I not a waste? Yagyu's head was full of question marks at this time. You know, before binding with Sasuke, he had a hard time learning the three-body technique. Now he can easily complete the training that even Naruto can hardly complete. Didn't I know when I became a genius? The talents of ninjas are basically divided into attribute talents, chakra amount talents, physical skills talents, ninjutsu training talents, sword skills talents, chakra control talents, blood inheritance talents, etc. Before binding with Sasuke, all of Yagyu's talents were extremely bad and at the bottom. But after binding with Sasuke, all of Yagyu's shortcomings were made up. Possessing the top chakra attribute talents of thunder and fire attributes, chakra amount and physical fitness, he surpassed the senior ninja and reached the level of Kage when he was only 10 years old. Because of many ninjutsu feedbacks, and Yagyu he has mastered the changes in the nature of chakra with the dual attributes of lightning and fire. As long as it is a ninjutsu with these two attributes, it is not difficult for Yagyu to practice. And the super strong chakra control makes it easy for Yagyu to practice non-attribute ninjutsu. In terms of swordsmanship, he is already a master of Konoha style, Moonlight style, and Uchiha style. In terms of bloodline limit, he has the top Uchiha bloodline, and the Sharingan is 100 times strengthened to Magatama. In other words, Yagyu has become a true genius at this time. Even if he is untied from Sasuke at this time, Yagyu can rely on his own practice to reach the level of Kage. Of course, it is still difficult to surpass the level of Kage. Because of the loss of Sasuke's feedback, his physical fitness and chakra progress will become slow. Whether he can still reach the transcendent level remains to be tested. The water from the water ball soaked Yagyu's face, and Sakura, who was standing by, immediately used her sleeve to wipe Yagyu's face. Yagyu-kun, why did you break this water ball? Yagyu grabbed Sakura's hand, wiped off the water stains on her face, and said, I am developing new ninjutsu. What ninjutsu are you developing this time? Is it water escape? Sakura shyly withdrew her hand and asked. But she was very excited in her heart. Yagyu-kun grabbed my hand. That's great. No, it is a non-attribute ninjutsu. Yagyu said, when I develop this ninjutsu, you can also learn it. Is it really possible? Sakura asked excitedly. Her 5 types of chakra are not outstanding, which means that no matter which type of ninjutsu Sakura learns, she will not be very fast. She had learned swordsmanship with Yagyu before, but Sakura obviously did not have any talent in swordsmanship. In the past few years, the only 2 things Sakura deserved praise for were her control of chakra and her learning of the instant body technique. Yes, really, this is a very powerful A-level ninjutsu. Once you learn it, ordinary ninjas will not be your opponents. A-level ninjutsu. Will it be difficult to learn? Even if it is a ninjutsu without attributes, Sakura's learning talent is not outstanding, which makes her a little worried. Yagyu gently stroked her pink hair and comforted her. Don't worry, this technique is not that difficult to learn. First, you condense the chakra into a ball in the palm of your hand like I did, and then use this chakra to burst the water ball like I did just now, and you will have learned half of it. Is that it? Sakura didn't quite believe that any A-level ninjutsu would be so easy to learn, but she still decided to give it a try. However, after trying, Sakura realized that this ninjutsu was not easy to learn. Just the first step of condensing a stable and continuous chakra ball was very difficult, and Sakura tried for several hours before she mastered it. At this time, Yagyu had completed the ball training and condensed the chakra ball into a solid, which already had initial power. Finally, As long as the chakra density was concentrated and it was rotated faster, it could cause enough destructive power and become a real Rasengan. And it took Yagyu only 1 day to complete all this. Thinking of this, Sakura felt that the gap between people was too big. Picking up a water balloon that Yagyu had left, Sakura began to try to burst the water balloon with chakra. But this training was even more difficult than the first one, and it was not completed for several days. It was not until 10 days later that he finally burst a water balloon and began to train with a ball. At this time, Yagyu had perfected the Rasengan. Rasengan. Chidori. A blue chakra ball collided with a lightning ball that made a bird cry sound, and an explosion occurred in an instant, stirring up countless smoke and dust. Soon Sasuke and Yagyu jumped out of the smoke and dust, leaving a small pit of several meters in the place. Sasuke coughed and looked at the small pit made by him and Yagyu, with a complicated expression. He really created an attributelless A-level ninjutsu. The Chidori sharp lance and other lightning ninjutsu he created during this period were all based on the Chidori. And their difficulty and power are not as good as A-level. But Yagyu just sat aside and played and created a bunch of ninjutsu. He even created the Rasengan, a template ninjutsu that is no less than the Chidori, out of nothing. According to Yagyu, if this Rasengan can be integrated with different attributes, it can become a different Rasengan. It's just that the template is A-level, if you add various attributes, wouldn't it be S-level? Thinking of this, Sasuke unconsciously developed a sense of urgency. The gap is getting bigger and bigger. He doesn't want to leave Uchiha Itachi to Yagyu to solve, he wants to defeat Uchiha Itachi himself. At this time, Yagyu's voice came from the opposite side. It seems to have succeeded, and its power has reached level A, enough to easily penetrate wooden stakes and iron blocks. This technique is the best ninjutsu only in that person's hands. Yagyu shook his head, not too surprised by the success of Rasengan. As a ninjutsu without seals and attributes, Rasengan is powerful and easy to perform. But it also has disadvantages, that is, the attack method is too simple and too direct. Although Chidori is slightly less powerful than Rasengan, Chidori can have a very high hit rate when paired with Sharingan. Rasengan can't. If the enemy's speed and agility are fast enough, it is actually difficult for Rasengan to hit. Unless it is a sneak attack. Using the advantages of its no seals to instantly perform a sneak attack, the success rate is high. In a sense, this is also one of the advantages of Rasengan, low-key. This technique is most suitable for speed ninjas, so guys like Minato who have practiced Flying Thunder God to perfection are the most suitable for this ninjutsu. If I don't learn Flying Thunder God, I probably won't be able to use this technique. Yagyu said as he threw the Rasengan training scroll to Sasuke. You should take your time in developing your lightning release ninjutsu. Once you have mastered this technique, see if you can integrate the lightning and fire chakras into it. Sasuke took the scroll and asked in confusion, why don't you try it yourself? Because it will explode. Quote. Even if a tributelless chakra explodes, it will only create some gas. But if the fire attribute and the lightning attribute are combined, the explosion will be unimaginable. Yagyu is not worried that this ninjutsu will kill him, but he also doesn't want to make himself look bad in order to develop ninjutsu. And with Sasuke's help, he might be able to master the new Rasengan faster. With such expectations, Yagyu completely handed over the project of Fire-style Rasengan and Lightning-style Rasengan to Sasuke. But he obviously had too high expectations for Sasuke, and underestimated the compatibility of Rasengan with the two attributes. Originally, Yagyu thought that Sasuke would be able to achieve results in a week, but week after week passed, and they were about to graduate, but Sasuke had not yet produced any results. If Yagyu hadn't watched Sasuke being blown up every day, Yagyu would have thought he was being lazy. Is it so difficult to add fire and lightning? Yagyu formed a Rasengan with one hand and stared at it in a daze. He was just wondering whether to add some fire and lightning chakra to see if he could add it when he heard another explosion not far away. Sasuke, who was blown to dust, kept coughing up blood. Forehead. Forget it, since I have already agreed to let Sasuke develop, I won't steal his limelight. Yagyu quietly removed the Rasengan and pretended that nothing happened to enjoy Sakura's massage. Among the three girls, Yagyu's favorite is not Hinata or Rino, but Sakura. Although Sakura is not as gentle and cute as Hinata, nor as straightforward and rich as Ino, but Sakura. There is time. Hinata often can't come to accompany him because of training tasks and strict tutoring, and Ino has to help manage the family business and sometimes can't come. Only Sakura comes to accompany him every day. Who doesn't like to have a sensible and clingy girlfriend? Of course, Yagyu didn't mean to blame Hinata and Ino. Everyone has their own lives and families, and even Yagyu can't accompany them every day. What qualifications does he have to ask them? People can't be so hypocritical. Feeling the kneading of the little hands on his shoulders, Yagyu moaned unconsciously. Are you comfortable? A cold voice sounded. Comfortable, Lu Sheng suddenly realized that the voice seemed a little wrong, and when he opened his eyes, he found that it was Shi Yan who came. Why are you here? Yagyu stood up and sat up a little straighter, feeling quite embarrassed as if he was caught having an affair. Although he and Sakura and the other two had already made it clear to the world, his real girlfriend and fiancé was only Azuki Yugao. In other words, Azuki Yugao was the principal wife. This could not be changed even if Hinata was the eldest daughter of the Hyuga clan. Of course, Hyuga Hiyashi would definitely not agree to Hinata marrying Yagyu as a concubine, and he might not agree even if Yagyu married into the Hyuga clan. However, Yagyu would not care about his opinion, as long as he was strong enough and the two were in love. Hyuga Hiyashi would be eager for Hinata to marry him. What, you don't welcome me? Sakura was very sensible and made way for Shi Yan to sit down, and Shi Yan took over Sakura's massage. Are you comfortable? Lu Sheng closed his eyes and enjoyed it for a while. Comfortable. Shi Yan showed a smile on her face, and then said apologetically, I have a lot of tasks recently, and I don't have much time to see you. You don't mind, do you? Lu Sheng shook his head. It would be a lie to say that I don't mind. Anyway, I still hope you can stay with me more. Shi Yan wanted to say something, but Lu Sheng stopped her by pointing his finger at her lips. But I also understand your difficulties. You have your own pursuits, and I understand. I can let you pursue what you want now, but after you marry me, you must stay by my side and at least don't take risks in dangerous places like the Anbu. I will worry about you, understand? Xian's cheeks flushed. I know, I will pay attention to safety. It has been almost 2 years since they confirmed their relationship. She originally thought that she was 10 years older than Lu Sheng, and she should be the older sister taking care of the younger brother, right? But who knew that Lu Sheng, the younger brother, was particularly mature and sensible, and especially good at flirting. If it weren't for the shortcoming of being fickle, Lu Sheng would be the perfect man in her heart. But no one is perfect. You want someone to be excellent, focused, infatuated and flirtatious. How can it be so good? And before making demands on your partner, it's best to see if you are worthy of them. Are you extremely beautiful, or gentle and considerate enough, or how? Versatile, powerful. If you have nothing and are not willing to pay for anything, then don't ask for so much. Although people should be confident, if you ignore the facts and talk about pursuit, it's like a toad wanting to eat swan meat. Of course, some people have terrible double standards. You talk to her about reality, and she talks to you about feelings. You talk to her about feelings, and she talks to you about reality, ideals and freedom. Fortunately, Xian is not such a person, and she also understands her own value. Whether in terms of talent or appearance, she is not worthy of Lu Sheng. If it weren't for the affection between the families, she would never be Lu Sheng's main wife. You're going to graduate soon, right? Yes. Shi Yan took out a gift box and gave it to Lu Sheng, saying, this is your graduation gift. Xiaoying, who was standing by, was a little annoyed when she saw it. Why didn't I prepare a birthday gift for Lu Sheng? Fortunately, there is still some time before graduation, so I should have time to prepare it. Xiaoying thought to herself. What is it? Yoyoshi took the gift box and asked curiously. Shi Yan smiled sweetly. You will know when you open it. The whole box is more than 4 feet long, dark purple, with a beautiful butterfly pattern. Yoyoshi gently opened it, and a ray of light flashed across his eyes. Knife. The box was fully opened, and a 3.5 foot long dark short knife suddenly appeared inside. Yes, I made a special trip to the Iron Kingdom to ask Master Tai Shenkao to make this. It can cut iron like mud. Iron Mountain Backrest. Liu Sheng thought of a strange action, but the thought flashed through his mind and he quickly focused on the blade. Liu Sheng held the handle with his left hand and gently stroked the blade with his right hand, and couldn't help but admire it. Good knife. That must be it. Shi Yan showed a proud smile like a little girl. It was obviously a very happy thing to be praised for the gift she chose. From now on, this sword will stay by your side and protect you instead of me. Hearing this, Yagyu was stunned for a moment. Then he smiled and said, okay. He gently stroked the blade and secretly vowed to use this sword to protect Izuki Yugao. Sakura, who was standing aside, watched Yagyu and Yugao flirting, secretly feeling jealous. I want to protect Yagyu-kun too. I also want to be protected by Yagyu-kun. On the day of the graduation exam, everyone came to the classroom as usual. But unlike the usual lack of enthusiasm, today's students were particularly excited. Fortunately, after 6 years of hard training, they were finally going to graduate and become the ninja they had always dreamed of. All they had to do next was just pass this simple test. Gecko Yagyu, I will definitely defeat you and become Hokage. Quote. Yagyu looked speechlessly at Naruto, who was provoking him. Since he replaced Sasuke, he had become the person that Naruto was clamoring to defeat every day. And because he was very close to Sakura, Naruto completely regarded him as an enemy. Forget it, Naruto. I don't know where your confidence comes from. You ranked last in the literature test, taijutsu, and ninjutsu. As the last one, you should think more about how to pass the test. Shikamaru said to Naruto listlessly, but Naruto didn't seem to appreciate it, and still said arrogantly, it's just a graduation exam, I don't care at all, just wait and see how I pass the test and get the forehead protector. After a while, Iruka and Mizuki came in and announced the content of this exam. Clone technique. Uzumaki Naruto immediately looked ashen. How come I am the worst at the clone technique? Yagyu glanced at him, yawned, and complained in his heart. You talk as if you were good at the substitution technique and transformation technique. Naruto's transformation technique is actually pretty good, otherwise he would not be able to develop transformation ninjutsu such as the color temptation technique. But it is not true that Naruto's transformation technique is great. A person who has mastered the transformation technique must be able to transform into all kinds of people. But Naruto is only particularly good at transforming into a naked beauty. Apart from that, he is also very good at transforming into Yagyu. Because he often treats Yagyu as an imaginary enemy, he knows Yagyu very well. But if Naruto is asked to transform into a strange man, Naruto will have some flaws. The exam started, and students came forward one by one to take the test. Some passed, some failed, but most of them passed. After 6 years of training, there were not many people who could not practice the clone technique well. Soon it was Naruto's turn. Naruto trembled and performed the clone technique in front of the 2 teachers with an uneasy heart. Clone technique. A Naruto who looked like a dead dog appeared on Naruto's right, causing the students to burst into laughter. Is this the art of clones? My dog has been learning for 6 years and still does better than this. Don't say that. I thought it was one of my classmates who used the transformation technique to turn into Naruto. Transformation. Which classmate is so bad at transformation? Quiet. Iruka shouted at everyone to restore order in the classroom, then looked at Naruto and sighed. Naruto, failed. Ah, no, Mr. Iruka. Can you give me another chance? Iruka frowned and said dissatisfiedly. Naruto, everyone is the same, everyone only has one chance. Besides, if I give you another chance, can you succeed? Naruto was a little overwhelmed. Can he succeed? He himself had no confidence. He just didn't want to be eliminated like this. Becoming a ninja, and then becoming a Hokage and gaining everyone's recognition was his lifelong pursuit. He just didn't want it to end like this. At this time, Mizuki's little thoughts surged in his heart, and he smiled to Iruka beside him. Teacher Iruka, I think Naruto's clone is actually okay, why not let him pass? Hearing Teacher Mizuki speak for him, Naruto showed a grateful expression. At the same time, he also had a glimmer of hope again. But what he didn't know was that Mizuki spoke for him not to help him, but to gain his trust and then use him. Mizuki knew Iruka's upright character very well. If he could make Naruto pass the assessment with just 1 or 2 words, it wouldn't take him so long to become a teacher at the ninja school. At that time, he was rejected by Sarutobi Hiruzen as a teacher because his character was suspected. At that time, he found his good friend Iruka and wanted him to help write a recommendation letter. He knew that Iruka was very popular with Sarutobi Hiruzen. As long as he could write a letter of recommendation for himself, he would definitely be able to become a teacher at the ninja school. But Iruka didn't do that because he thought it was fake. It was nepotism, which was unacceptable. No way. As expected, Iruka refused again. If he can pass the test with his clone technique, then no one can fail the test. Iruka mercilessly wrote a fail on Naruto's report card. This completely dispelled the hope in Naruto's heart. He looked lonely and returned to his seat alone. Mizuki looked at Naruto's lost back, but showed a look of success and mockery. The demon fox wants to be a ninja. I'll kill you after I've used you up. Shuimu thought coldly. Next, Gekko Yagyu. The name of Gekko Yagyu brought the atmosphere of the entire graduation examination to a climax. Iruka also looked at Yagyu with great appreciation. Although Yagyu usually sleeps in class, his grades are the best. As long as a person is strong enough, there is no need to care too much about some minor problems. Finally, it's Yagyu-kun's turn. He will surely pass the test easily, right? Isn't that nonsense? Yagyu-kun is the strongest person in our class. How can a mere clone technique stump him? Come on, Yagyu-kun. Although Yagayu's popularity in the class has decreased a lot due to his fiancée, it has not affected his position in the hearts of the boys. Powerful, invincible, Yagayu yawned, put his hands in his pockets, and walked forward as if he was still asleep. He was already stronger than the elite Jonin, and he had no interest in this kind of elementary school student assessment. If this was not a necessary process for him to become a ninja, he would not even bother to take the exam. Duplicate technique, Lu Sheng murmured in a low voice, without making any seals. Everyone stared at Lu Sheng in disbelief. Without, no seals. Iruka was so shocked that he forgot to fill in his grades. Mizuki was even more jealous. Why can't such a genius be me? Just now, Gekko Ryusi didn't perform any seals. Did I see it right? You read that right, he really didn't make any seals. Good, so impressive. Naruto curled his lips and said jealously, isn't it just releasing a ninjutsu without forming a seal? What's so great about it? Bang! The clone jutsu dissipated with the smoke, and Yagayu didn't even look at what Iruka recorded for him. Anyway, he would definitely pass. At this time, Iruka belatedly recorded Yagayu's score. Gekko Yagayu, excellent. After the test, everyone went home as usual. Tomorrow everyone will go back to the classroom to start the division. Yagayu was about to leave, but Sakura came over with a gift box. She blushed, tiptoed to Yagayu, lowered her head and handed the gift box to Yagayu. Yagayu-kun, this is my graduation gift for you, I hope you like it. Ino and Hinata, who were preparing to go home together, were stunned for a moment. Ino showed an angry expression, there is such a way. Hinata was a little ashamed, why didn't I think of it? Yagayu-kun won't be angry, right? Yagayu smiled slightly and took the gift box. I like anything you give me. This sentence made Xiaoying happy, and then he opened the gift box. In the gift box was a kunai with a cherry blossom tattoo, and some long pink strings were tied to the front, which looked very beautiful. It looks good, I like it very much. Thank you, Sakura. Yagayu put the kunai into his ninja tool bag, making Sakura happy. Just as you like, Sakura blushed and said, I'll give you a gift too. Lu Sheng said as he took out the small gift box he had prepared long ago. It was obvious that he had been prepared for this day. Open it and have a look. Sakura nodded and opened it expectantly. Inside was a white short knife and a butterfly hairband. Yagayu picked up the butterfly hairband, grabbed Sakura's long pink hair and tied it up, and whispered, in the future, you will inevitably have to fight when carrying out missions. If your hair is too long, it will affect your vision. It will be better if you tie it up. How about it, do you like it? Yeah, I like it. Me too, I like everything from Yagayu. The white knife was nothing special, it was just a sharp and valuable knife. But even so, Ino and Sakura were a little envious. Yagayu-kun actually prepared a graduation gift for Sakura, but we didn't. Could it be that we are outshined by Sakura? Just as the two were thinking about it, Yagayu took out 2 more gift boxes. Ino, Hinata, what are you doing standing there? I have prepared gifts for you too. Do we have it too? The 2 girls ran over happily, then looked embarrassed. But we didn't prepare any graduation gifts for you. It doesn't matter, I don't lack anything. Yagayu touched Hinata and Ino's heads, then handed the 2 gift boxes to the 2 girls. Hinata's gift box was open to reveal 2 gray-black clothes, which were ninja plain clothes that could cover her well-developed figure without affecting combat. Ino's gift box was open to reveal a sleeve arrow, which was a special ninja tool. If it could hit, even a senior ninja would be seriously injured. Ino was not good at she was not good at ninjutsu of this nature, nor was she good at physical and swordsmanship, and she had not learned the Rasengan. Yagayu wanted to prepare some life-saving ninja tools for her. Although Ino was likely to be on the same team with Shikamaru and would not encounter any danger, there was always a chance of something happening. It was always right to be more prepared. Do you like it? The 2 girls nodded and said happily, I like it. This was the first gift that Yagayu gave them. The 2 girls cherished it very much and put it away carefully. At the same time, they also decided in their hearts to make up for Yagayu's graduation gift tomorrow. They didn't want to be surpassed by Sakura. Although with Shion, they were destined to not be able to compete for the position of the eldest wife, but they could still compete for the position of the second wife. After giving the graduation gifts, Yagayu took the 3 girls to leave. Who knew that at this time an old man walked in? Lord Hokage. The 3 girls were shocked, and Yagayu was also a little surprised. What was this old man doing here? Hello. Sarutobi Hiruzen greeted the 4 people with a kind smile like an old grandfather, then he looked at Gecko Yagayu and asked, do you have time? How about we chat? Yagayu didn't know what Sarutobi Hiruzen wanted to ask him, but he certainly didn't have the power to refuse, so he let the 3 women leave first. Only Yagayu and Sarutobi Hiruzen were left, and the atmosphere became inexplicably quiet. What do you want to talk to me about? Sarutobi Hiruzen groaned and asked, Yagayu, do you want to join the Anbu? I don't want to. Yagayu refused without even thinking about it, which made Sarutobi Hiruzen look embarrassed. The Anbu was directly under the command of Sarutobi Hiruzen, the 3rd Hokage. Isn't it an honor for every Konoha ninja to serve me, the strongest and greatest Hokage in history? Can I ask why? Sarutobi Hiruzen asked, trying to put on a gentle smile. Because it's too troublesome, and I don't lack money, why should I do such a tiring task? Yagayu told Sarutobi Hiruzen his true thoughts bluntly, but the appearance of having no will of fire made Sarutobi Hiruzen feel like a thorn in his throat. It has been a long time since I met a boy without such a will of fire. Yagayu, how can you think like that? You can't be so selfish. As a ninja, you have to know how to sacrifice for the development of the village. If everyone is like you, who will protect Konoha? Protect your clan, protect your family. My family is all dead. Quote. You want to protect Xi'an, right? Yagayu thought, that's right. Sarutobi Hiruzen was delighted, thinking that Yagayu's thoughts had changed. But his next words directly broke his defense. But I think the best way to protect someone is not to go through life and death with her, but to take her away from danger. I have already made an agreement with Shion that she will not do it after we get married. Quote. What do you mean? I came here to seduce you, why are you trying to steal my girl? And I also want to protect Hinata, Sakura, and Ino. Well, it's not impossible for them to join the Anbu. How about you arrange them all to my team, and then I can consider joining the Anbu. Sarutobi Hiruzen was frowning. Ino and Sakura were okay. As long as they were strong enough, they could be recruited into the Anbu as an exception. But Hinata Hyuga was the eldest daughter of the Hyuga main family and the future head of the Hyuga family. Hyuga Hiyashi would never agree to Hinata taking the risk of joining the Anbu. Of course, as the Hokage, Hyuga Hiyashi would definitely not disobey his orders. But this would ruin his relationship with the Hyuga clan, which was related to his position as Hokage and his power in the upper echelons of Konoha. So for these reasons, he would not let Hinata join the Anbu. They are all recent graduates and are not suitable for the position of Anbu. Sarutobi Hiruzen found an excuse to evade Yagyu, but Yagyu did not buy it. I just graduated too. If they are not suitable, then I am. You are different. What's different about me? You are stronger. Sarutobi Hiruzen praised. Yagyu, you are a true genius. Konoha's future needs you. Oh, quote. Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed. He knew that it was impossible to impress Yagyu with the will of fire alone. So, if you are willing to join the Anbu, I can choose a clan land for the Moonlight Clan that is closer to the center of Konoha, and I can also give your Moonlight Clan ninjas more tasks. How about that? Quote, this condition should be quite tempting to our clan leader. Why don't you go and ask him if he is willing to come out of retirement and serve as a ninja in the Anbu at his age? The corner of Sarutobi Hiruzen's mouth twitched. Thinking of that square-faced old pervert, his whole face turned black. As the patriarch of the Moonlight Clan, he was shameless and often peeped at women bathing in the bathhouse and was reported. His strength is not as good as before, and he can hurt his waist when he walks 2 steps. Even in his prime, he was just a special jonin who mastered the transparent release and barely made some achievements in gathering intelligence. Let him return to the Anbu. He doesn't even want to be paid. Looking at Yagyu, Sarutobi Hiruzen just felt it was a pity. The will of fire can't attract Yagyu, love can't control Yagyu, and he doesn't even care about the interests of the family. Such a selfish ninja is not a good thing for the entire Konoha. If one day Konoha offends Yagyu because of something, I'm afraid Konoha will have another terrible enemy. Fortunately, Yagyu is too lazy and doesn't value power, otherwise it will be a threat to him. Seeing that he could not persuade Yagyu to join the Anbu, Sarutobi Hiruzen had no choice but to give up the idea. Since you don't want to join the Anbu, that's fine. But with your strength, being just a genin is a waste of talent. I will give you 2 choices. One is that I will let you join the Jonin team directly, and you will go on missions alone with the Jonin in the future. The other is that I hope you will participate in this year's Chunin exam. This year's Chunin exam will start in a few months. This is an almost impossible challenge for a newly graduated genin. But Yagyu is different. According to Kakashi, his strength has reached the level of Jonin. A 12-year-old Jonin. This is Kakashi's second. I choose 2. Good. Sarutobi Hiruzen also preferred the second option. Because the latter would not only allow Yagyu more time to familiarize himself with ninja missions and deepen his bond with Konoha, but also allow him to climb to a higher position naturally. You know, the higher the position, the greater the responsibility, and it would be easier for him to tell Yagyu to do things. With Yagyu's personality, he was very worried that he would stay in the position of genin, which was not a good thing. If he was not worried that Yagyu had never been on a mission and had no experience in doing missions, he would have wanted Yagyu to directly participate in the Jonin assessment and promote him to Jonin. I hope you work hard these few months and don't slack off. This year's Chunin exam is a little different from previous ones. Yeah, Yagyu nodded lightly, without any questions. The so-called difference is just the joint exam of various ninja villages, and he even knows more. By then, you, the Konoha ninja bear, will die in this exam. After explaining what he wanted to explain, Sarutobi Hiruzen was ready to leave. At this time, Yagyu suddenly remembered something and asked, "Can I ask who my teammates are?" A total of 9 of the 12 little strongmen of Konoha are graduates of this year. In other words, he is the extra one of this year's graduates. No matter how Sarutobi Hiruzen arranges the team list, one person will be excluded. Of course, a 4-person team is not impossible, but this team mode generally only appears in certain special circumstances. For example, a temporary team formed due to excessive difficulty of the task. Sarutobi Hiruzen turned his head to look at Yagyu and said, "If nothing unexpected happens, it will be you, Sasuke and Sakura. Of course, I can't guarantee that this list will not change before tomorrow." Quote. It's the same as saying nothing. What will happen tonight? Uzumaki Naruto was instigated by teacher Mizuki to steal the Book of Seals, and then he made a breakthrough in the process and learned the shadow clone technique to defeat Mizuki and pass the ninja test. Now listening to what Sarutobi Hiruzen said, it seems that everything is planned. After all, How could a person who is not even a genin break into the heavily guarded Hokage building to steal the Book of Seals? Thinking of this, Yagyu shook his head secretly. As expected, those who play politics are dirty. Looking up at the clock, it was already late, and more than an hour had passed since the end of class. Go home. With his hands in his pockets, Yagyu yawned and walked out of the classroom. However, as soon as he walked out of the school, he saw Naruto swinging alone at the gate of the ninja school. He looked very sad and lonely, as if the failure of this exam had dealt him a great blow. Fatherless and motherless, despised by the whole village, and a waste at the bottom of the class. With so many labels on him, Naruto didn't think about inferiority and depravity, nor hatred, but tried to break this situation. He never thought about why he was born without parents, nor did he think about why everyone hated him so much. He never thought about why he was worse than others despite his hard work. Some people are born to be good people, and you can't stop them. Yagyu sighed and prepared to turn left. At this time, a figure suddenly appeared behind Naruto. Mizuki. Yagyu didn't expect to run into this scene. He looked at Mizuki and Naruto and said a few words, and then the two left. This is the beginning of a conspiracy to seal the book. Yagyu didn't want to meddle in other people's business, but at this moment he suddenly had a dangerous idea. Since Sarutobi Hiruzen initially drew up a team list of himself, Sasuke and Sakura, then as long as Naruto fails the exam, the list will not change. He can be in the same class with Sakura and Sasuke without worrying about being replaced. Although the probability of being replaced is not high, Sasuke has the Sharingan and Kakashi must be in the same class. Uzumaki Naruto, as a Jinchuriki, must need a senior ninja trusted by Sarutobi Hiruzen to lead the team, so Sasuke and Naruto must be in the same class. Finally, there is Sakura. Sakura is the only girl, and the probability of her being replaced is even smaller than the probability of himself being replaced. Thinking of this, Yagyu plans to secretly get involved in this matter. As long as Mizuki and Naruto's plan is disrupted, maybe Naruto can't graduate. As long as Naruto doesn't graduate, he can ensure that the list of Team 7 remains unchanged. As a Jinchuriki, Naruto must be monitored by the Anbu, so Yagyu didn't act rashly to follow the two. He first continued to go home as usual, until he passed the corner and used the shadow clone to disguise himself to go back. He used the transformation technique to become an uncle, put on the Anbu mask that had been prepared long ago and chased in the direction of Mizuki and Naruto. Consider in place to avoid exposing his identity. Mizuki and Naruto did not go far, the two just came to an uninhabited grove to negotiate. When Yagyu arrived, they had just said half of the words. Mizuki, Naruto, as long as you steal the sealed book and learn one or two ninjutsu in it, you can definitely pass the exam easily. Naruto, but teacher Mizuki, stealing is wrong, and it's stealing the sealed book. Mizuki, don't you want to be a ninja? Naruto, I. A gloom flashed across Mizuki's face. He didn't expect that Naruto had such ridiculous morals. You are hated and rejected by the whole village. Do you know that? Mizuki's expression became serious, and he said, Naruto, you must understand that this may be your only chance in this life. If you don't seize this opportunity, you may never be able to become a ninja again. Hearing that he might never be able to become a ninja again, and he would never be able to become a Hokage recognized by everyone. Naruto immediately made up his mind, okay, I'll go. Mizuki smiled with a triumphant smile, and praised, I knew you would figure it out. As long as you steal the Book of Seals, you will definitely be able to become a ninja and become a Hokage recognized by everyone. And you don't have to worry about the danger of being tracked down. When the time comes, you can steal it and remember the things inside, and I will help you return it, and no one will know. Yeah. Thank you, Mizuki-sensei. You are so kind to me. Naruto, who was fooled and at a loss, looked at Mizuki with sparkling eyes, and even a trace of tears flashed in the corner of his eyes. Who else in Konoha cares so much about me, Uzumaki Naruto? It is my honor to meet a teacher like Mizuki-sensei in this life. Yagyu hid in the dark and heard all the plots of the two. He could have gone out to stop them, but he suddenly sensed that there was someone hiding in the dark like him watching them, so he gave up. After a while, when Mizuki and Naruto left, a figure walked out. Iruka, could it be that Iruka has been spying on Mizuki? Or Naruto? It's terrifying to think about it. The usually honest Iruka doesn't seem to be a simple character. However, Iruka in the middle stage can even fight with pain for several rounds, and his performance is better than that of the special ninja Ebisu. It seems reasonable that he is not simple. Yagyu shook his head, feeling that people's hearts are unpredictable. Usually in school, Iruka and Mizuki are inseparable, like very good friends. And Mizuki always seems to think that Iruka is an idiot, too naive, and has been using Iruka. But he didn't know that the naive Iruka in his eyes has actually been spying on him. Maybe Sarutobi Hiruzen has been eyeing him since Mizuki killed his companions. It's just that because there is no evidence, Iruka has been spying on him. I remember that Mizuki once applied to become a ninja teacher and was rejected. In the past 2 years, he became a ninja teacher inexplicably. There is no trick in this. Yagyu doesn't believe it at all. Whether he agreed to let Mizuki become a ninja teacher or deliberately allowed Mizuki to contact Naruto, it could all be a bait. I just don't know if Naruto becoming a ninja through this incident is also in their plan. Yagyu didn't know what Sarutobi Hiruzen was thinking, but no matter what the situation was, he would not let Sarutobi Hiruzen get his wish so easily. Looking at Iruka who left with Naruto, Yagyu turned around and left. At 12 o'clock in the middle of the night, the whole Konoha suddenly sounded the alarm. The Book of Seals was stolen, and Sarutobi Hiruzen immediately summoned all the Jonin to track down the whereabouts of the Book of Seals. And in the forest where Mizuki and Naruto were conspiring today, an orange figure kept shuttling between them. Ouch! Suddenly a stone tripped Naruto, and the seal book on his back somehow fell and rolled into the bushes beside him. Where did the stone come from? Naruto muttered as he got up from the ground, ran into the bushes to find the Book of Seals, and continued to run to the agreed location. After a while, a figure landed here. The moonlight hit his face, and it was obvious that it was Iruka. Stone. Iruka looked around suspiciously, but found nothing unusual. It seems that he is really in a hurry to run. Iruka murmured, and then continued to follow the direction of Naruto's escape. After Iruka walked away, a transparent figure quickly left in the opposite direction. That's right, this transparent figure was Yagyu, who used the transparent escape technique to lurk. He lurked on the road early, quietly tripped Naruto, and then replaced the Book of Seals. As long as there is no real Book of Seals, Naruto will not be able to learn the ninjutsu in it. Naturally, he can't graduate from the ninja school. Of course, just in case, Yagyu also quietly killed Mizuki. Without this emotional engine, Naruto will not go berserk and suddenly master some ninjutsu. And Mizuki's disappearance can also be blamed for the replacement of the Book of Seals. Yagyu is not worried that Sarutobi Hiruzen will find out about him. A quarter of an hour later, Naruto fled to a place he thought was safe and breathed heavily for a while. It shouldn't be discovered, right? Feeling the hard object on his back, Naruto felt much more at ease. Never mind, let's learn ninjutsu first. Let me see what powerful ninjutsu is in this sealed book. Rubbing his hands, Naruto couldn't wait to open the sealed book. He saw that it was blank. Why is there nothing here? Naruto turned the pages of the sealed book in a panic, but he didn't find any ninjutsu. There really wasn't a single word in this sealed book. Did I steal the wrong thing? Naruto was a little confused. He had clearly taken it according to the instructions of Mr. Mizuki. It was impossible for him to take the wrong thing. Did I open it the wrong way? I heard that some scrolls cannot be opened in the usual way, and must be soaked in water or roasted over fire before they can be seen. Something as powerful as the sealed book cannot be seen just by opening it. Thinking of this, Naruto felt that it was very possible. So he immediately found a river and opened the sealed book and threw it in to soak it. Because it would burn after being roasted by fire, Naruto planned to try it with water first. But when the scroll was soaked in water, there was still nothing inside. Naruto put his face close to the sealed book and looked at it, but still couldn't see a single word. Do we need to roast it with fire? Just as Naruto was suspicious, a figure was hiding in the tree not far from him. Strange, why hasn't Shuimu come yet? Wait, what is this guy Naruto doing? He threw the Book of Seals into the river. Uruka wanted to go out and stop Naruto, but thinking that Mizuki hadn't come out yet, he held back. It's just soaked, it will be fine after drying in the sun. Uruka comforted himself. In order to expose Mizuki, Sarutobi Hiruzen asked Naruto to take out the real book of sealing this time. Seeing Naruto rubbing his face against the book of sealing like an idiot, he felt a pain in his liver. If you really can't learn it, forget it, don't mess around. Uruka suddenly felt that he had failed as a teacher in the past few years. It's okay that he didn't teach Naruto ninjutsu, but how come he couldn't even learn ninjutsu by himself? Who would soak the scroll in water to learn ninjutsu? Uruka inexplicably fell into self-blame, but Naruto at this time did not intend to let go of the book of sealing. Naruto suddenly started to collect firewood, and then he actually started to drill wood to make fire. What is this for? Uruka looked at Naruto puzzledly as he spent 10 minutes drilling wood to make fire. Then he got 2 pieces of wood and stuck them into the soil on both sides. Are you planning to have a barbecue? Uruka was a little confused. It's already this late. You should learn some ninjutsu as soon as possible, and stop having a barbecue. Uruka complained in his heart, and suddenly saw Naruto actually stuck the book of seals through his heart and then put it on the wooden rack to roast it. Stop it, Naruto. What are you doing, Teacher Uruka? Naruto felt guilty and picked up the sealed book to run, but how could he be as fast as Uruka? In just a moment, Uruka appeared in front of him and stopped him. Uruka snatched the sealed book with a look of disappointment and wiped the water stains carefully. You actually soaked the sealed book in water and then roasted it. What if it burns? You know everything, Uruka-sensei. Naruto lowered his head, feeling a little anxious. What should I do? The theft of the book of seals has been discovered. Where are you, Mr. Mizuki? Chapter 31. Uruka took the wet book of seals and found something wrong with it. How come there is no word on it? Could it be that the Hokage had expected this long ago, so he only stole a fake book of seals for Naruto? If the book of seals is fake, wouldn't I be exposed in advance? Will Mizuki come out? The Mizuki they were waiting for did not show up after all, and Naruto did not break through in this incident, and was retained by Uruka in the ninja school. At night, Uruka returned to the Hokage building with the wet book of seals. In fact, he guessed that the book of seals might have been replaced, but he had been following during this period, and the other party should not have had a chance to make a move. With a nervous heart, Uruka presented the book of seals to Sarutobi Hiruzen. And Sarutobi Hiruzen could see at a glance that the book of seals was stolen. This is fake. The book of seals was stolen, and Sarutobi Hiruzen first suspected not Mizuki or Naruto but Uruka. So the Anbu directly took Uruka down and took him for interrogation. The interrogation results were naturally not what people wanted. Uruka didn't take the book of seals. Uzumaki Naruto didn't take it either. Mizuki also disappeared. All signs seemed to indicate that Mizuki had replaced the book of seals at some point. He was a Hokage, but he was actually plotted against by a little Chunin. He also lost the extremely important book of seals. Sarutobi Hiruzen was furious and directly listed Mizuki as AS-level traitor in Konoha. He wanted to see him alive or dead. That night, countless Anbu went out just to capture this little Chunin. But Mizuki had died long ago, and they were doomed to return empty-handed. The capture operation lasted for a week, and the whole of Konoha was in turmoil for a week. Although no one knew what happened, the actions of the ninjas suddenly increased dozens of times, and they even searched door to door. This also let everyone know that something big must have happened in Konoha. However, because the book of seals was stolen, Sarutobi Hiruzen did not tell the world about it, otherwise the entire fire country would be in chaos. I don't know how many people with strange intentions will appear in the fire country for this book of seals. There is no telling how many Konoha ninjas with ulterior motives will be deceived by this news and become traitors. The most terrifying thing is that his prestige in Konoha may be reduced because of this incident. The sealed book that contains all the terrible forbidden techniques of Konoha was actually stolen from his hands by a Chunin teacher. What an incompetent performance. This matter must not be leaked. Especially the 2 consultants and Danzo must not know. But the truth will come to light eventually. Sarutobi Hiruzen mobilized all the Jonin to look for the sealed book. It is impossible to conceal this matter. The subsequent actions not only did not converge, but became worse. Even a fool could see that Sarutobi Hiruzen had messed up. Upon learning the news, Danzo immediately went to the Hokage's office to launch a tactical ridicule on him. Sarutobi, you couldn't even keep the book of sealing safe, and it was stolen by a mere Chunin teacher. I think you should abdicate. Sarutobi Hiruzen remained tactically silent. He was not in the right in this matter, and he had no way to shirk responsibility. This also resulted in him not having the confidence to debate with Danzo. Soon, the two advisors also walked in. You detain Kaharu. This is outrageous. Sarutobi Hiruzen, as the Sandaime Hokage, how could you do such a stupid thing? Use the book of sealing to lure a Chunin traitor. Is it worth it? Nito Kato En. The most outrageous thing is that you were fooled. A mere Chunin tricked a ninja hero like you. If this gets out, I don't know how many years other ninja villages will laugh at us. Sarutobi Hiruzen smoked his pipe and sighed. Things have come to this point, and I have tried my best to make up for it. Make up for it. You sent all the Anbu and Jonin out to capture Mizuki. It's been a week. Is there any effect? And the most important thing now is that not only did Mizuki not catch him, the sealed book was not taken back, and the whole Konoha fell into chaos because of this matter. If you don't know, you might think we are going to start a war against some ninja village. Sarutobi Hiruzen, you are getting more and more confused as you get older. Shimura Danzo seized the opportunity to sneer at Sarutobi Hiruzen. For so many years, he has been suppressed by Sarutobi Hiruzen because Sarutobi Hiruzen brought a peaceful and stable environment to Konoha. This made the two advisors always have a good impression of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Now that this kind of thing happened, he would definitely severely belittle Sarutobi Hiruzen and win the support of the two advisors. I think you should let me handle this matter. We in the root are more covert and won't mess up the whole Konoha. Hearing that Danzo actually took the initiative to clean up his mess, Sarutobi Hiruzen was not only not happy, but also a little angry. What do you mean? What I, the Hokage, can't do, you, the leader of the root, can do. So you are better than me. No need, I can handle this matter myself, there is no need to trouble the root to take action. Hearing Sarutobi Hiruzen's answer, the two advisors were obviously unhappy. Sarutobi, Konoha can't go on in chaos. In our opinion, let the root handle it. The actions of the Anbu and the Jonins were too eye-catching. Everyone knew that something was wrong with Konoha. But if the Anbu and the Jonins were not sent out, Sarutobi Hiruzen would have no one else to use. After thinking about it, Sarutobi Hiruzen said, I will call back all the Jonins and let the Anbu continue to track down Mizuki's whereabouts. Sarutobi, are you going to do it your own way? Danzo said angrily when he saw that the two consultants' intervention was useless. But Sarutobi Hiruzen was obviously not scared by Danzo. He had been the Hokage for so many years and had always been able to suppress Danzo, so naturally he was not afraid of him. He just glanced at Danzo coldly and said lightly, I am the Hokage, and I have the final say in everything in Konoha, including you, the leader of the root. You. Danzo's expression was cold. Sarutobi's words reminded him of the night 6 years ago when Sarutobi used an excuse to dismiss him from his position as Hokage's assistant. If he wasn't Hokage, he would be useless. You're going to regret this, Sarutobi Hiruzen. HMPH. Danzo slammed the door and left with a cold snort. The two advisors didn't care about Danzo's intentions. They just looked at Sarutobi deeply. Sarutobi, you are the Hokage, but you also need to listen to our opinions on some things. But since you want to handle this matter yourself, we will not interfere, but Konoha cannot continue in such a mess. Understand? Sarutobi Hiruzen held his pipe in his mouth and said indifferently, I will take care of it. Yes. The two advisors nodded and left. Between Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen, they still preferred Sarutobi Hiruzen. This was not only because Sarutobi Hiruzen was the successor chosen by the second generation, but also because of Sarutobi Hiruzen's achievements over the past few decades. Konoha needs peace. Always. After this conversation, Sarutobi Hiruzen called back all the Jonin and resumed their original duties. As for Mizuki's matter, a team good at tracking was sent to investigate. It was considered a cold treatment of the matter. Obviously, they cared more about their face than the missing book of seals. At the same time, Although Danzo did not get Sarutobi Hiruzen's consent, he still sent people to investigate the matter without authorization. And unlike Sarutobi Hiruzen, he sent several teams to investigate the matter together. It seems that he intends to compete with Sarutobi Hiruzen. He intends to get the Book of Seals back first and give Sarutobi Hiruzen a slap in the face. However, no matter how they investigated, even if they arrested Mizuki's fiancée and tortured her behind Sarutobi Hiruzen's back, they could not find any information about Mizuki. It was as if this person disappeared out of thin air. At the ninja school, a week had passed since Yagyu and his friends graduated. Their team list should have been announced the day after the graduation exam, but because the seal book was lost, all the Jonin were sent out to look for Mizuki. The Jonin were not there, and no one came to accept the new members after the team list was announced, so the matter was delayed. It was not until today that the team was officially assigned. Team 7, Gekko Yagyu, Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura. Team 8, Hinata Hyuga, Shino Aburame and Kiba Inuzuka. Team 10, Nara Shikamaru, Akamichi Choji and Yamanaka Ino. Most of the names on the list have not changed, only Yagyu replaced Uzumaki Naruto. After Iruka reported the names, he told them that the instructor would come in the afternoon, and then left with a tired look on his face. It seems that Mizuki's matter has had a great impact on him. The seal book is lost, and Mizuki, who he has been monitoring, has disappeared. His future is now bleak, and I am afraid that he will not be able to be a teacher in the ninja school next year. Yagyu and I aren't in the same group. As soon as Iruka left, Ino ran over angrily to vent her dissatisfaction. Nara Shikamaru and Akamichi Choji came over helplessly, silently standing beside Ino to listen to her complain about the grouping. However, it did make them sad to hear the new teammates complaining about the bad team they were assigned to. Are we so bad? Shikamaru and Choji couldn't help but think. Hinata didn't react as much as Ino, although her expression was also disappointed. It was only a flash. She greeted Yagyu and went to get acquainted with her teammates. Okay, I'm sorry I'm not in your group, Ino. But this is the Hokage's decision, and there's nothing we can do to change it. Why don't we go have lunch together? It's my treat. Have lunch. Okay. Hearing about lunch, Choji immediately interrupted Ino's complaints. Although Ino was dissatisfied, it was Yagyu who suggested the meal, so she didn't say it out loud, but just glared at Choji fiercely. Choji shrank his head in fear. It seems that the reputation of the big sister in the class is well deserved. In the afternoon, there was no Naruto, and there was no incident of Sasuke being ambushed and disguised as her to-date Sakura. The whole afternoon was very peaceful. The three teams had lunch together, chatted together, and then returned to the classroom together to wait for the arrival of the guiding Jonin. Not surprisingly, the guiding Jonin of Team 7 was still the last to arrive. When everyone had left, Kakashi finally arrived. Sorry, I met a wildcat on the road that blocked my way. As soon as he opened the door, Kakashi found an extremely perfunctory excuse to deal with them. The three people obviously didn't believe it, and Kakashi didn't think they would believe it. He was too lazy to think of a suitable reason. Anyway, he had the highest position in the whole team, so he could say whatever he wanted. Kakashi glanced at the three people, scratched his head and said, "They are all old acquaintances." Oh. This is the first time you meet a girl, so let's go through the process. Come with me. The four of them came to the school's training ground. Kakashi leaned on the railing, looked at the three of them and said, "Please introduce yourselves. I only know your names. You have to say what you like, what you hate, and what your dreams are, right?" The self-introduction of Class 7 in Yagyu's memory was like this. Ah, yes. What he wanted to say was said by Yagyu, and Kakashi was a little unconfident. He even hesitated for a second to think. Let's start with you. My name is Moonlight Lu Sheng. What I hate is hard work, what I like is strength, and my dream is to gain strength without working hard. Things that have been achieved are not really dreams, but Lu Sheng feels that he has no dreams anymore. He just wants to live a carefree life and marry 3 wives and 4 concubines. Strength, no need to work hard. Kakashi's mouth twitched, thinking of the days when he accepted the task to train Yagyu. This kid is just too lazy. If he hadn't forced him to practice, this kid might not have learned how to change the nature of chakra. Sasuke glanced at Yagyu, his face full of doubts. Have you worked hard in the past 6 years? Except for the time he spent on developing ninjutsu last year, Sasuke never saw him work hard at other times. He never practiced sword once, and he didn't have the habit of reviewing ninjutsu. It seems that geniuses don't need to learn. Okay, next one. Kakashi pointed at Sasuke. Sasuke, you come. Sasuke looked indifferent and said lightly, my name is Uchiha Sasuke. I don't like anything. The thing I hate is a person. My dream is to. It's more of a goal than a dream. I want to kill that man and take revenge. Before Sasuke finished speaking, Yagyu flicked him on the head. The pain made Sasuke regain his composure. He couldn't tell anyone about the pursuit of the truth about the Uchiha clan genocide. Especially a confidant of the Hokage like Kakashi. Kakashi noticed the little movements of the two, but he didn't care too much. Instead, he was a little happy. Because he himself didn't know the truth about the Uchiha clan genocide, he just thought that Sasuke's so-called revenge was about Uchiha Itachi. But the intimate behavior of the two made Kakashi see the feeling of his companions. Respecting his companions is a necessary prerequisite for him to lead the team. The relationship between the three seems to be very harmonious, but I don't know if the three can still do this when facing danger. You are the only one left. Kakashi looked at the only girl among the three. Sakura was obviously not as open as Yagyu and Sasuke, and she was a little embarrassed when she spoke. My name is Haruno Sakura, and I like. It's better to say that it's someone you like. Sakura glanced at Yagyu secretly, her cheeks slightly red. I hate bugs, and my dream is to marry the person I love. A lazy guy, an avenger, and a nymphomaniac. Kakashi has a preliminary impression of the three. My name is Kakashi, and I will be your leader from now on. Dislikes. Okay, that's it. Quote. In the end, nothing was said. The three of them complained in their hearts. If Kakashi were allowed to be a leader on Blue Star, he would definitely be a good leader. Gather at the number 7 training ground at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. We are going to conduct a survival exercise. Kakashi looked at the setting sun and said, survival drill. What survival drill? Sakura asked in confusion. Well, you can also understand it as a graduation exercise. Only those who pass the exercise can officially graduate from the ninja school. Kakashi replied. Graduation exercise? Haven't we graduated yet? Why do we still need to do graduation exercise? Sakura asked again. Kakashi glanced at Sakura and said, of course it's not that simple. The exams in your school are just to test your achievements in school. This doesn't mean that you can become an excellent ninja. Besides, Konoha doesn't have that many team leaders to take care of you newcomers. If every new student passes the test, Konoha would not have enough jonin. Sakura thought about it and it made sense. If there was no second test, they might not have the chance to graduate. She glanced at Yagyu and Sasuke who were calm beside her. With them around, this test should be a sure thing, right? After all, if the top student and the second place student can't pass the graduation test, then no one can pass. Seeing that the three had no other problems, Kakashi ordered them to disperse. Before leaving, he specifically warned the three not to eat breakfast, which was obviously not a good intention. Yagyu, who knew what Kakashi was thinking, said to the two after he left, see you at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning and have a normal meal. Sakura, but just now, Teacher Kakashi. Yagyu, I don't think he meant well by not letting me eat during the survival drill. Judging from his lateness today, the probability of him arriving on time tomorrow is 0. We'll be thankful if he can arrive at the training ground at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Sakura was still a little worried. What if Kakashi-sensei arrives on time tomorrow? Will he make us fail the test? Relax. Yagyu patted Sakura's shoulder, just trust me. I know Kakashi too well. Sasuke didn't comment. Having been taught by Kakashi for a period of time, he also knew Kakashi's habits. Although he was meticulous when doing tasks, he would be very lazy once it was not a task. He was no less than Yagyu. I'm leaving first, Sasuke said as he left first. Seeing that both of them were relieved, Sakura said nothing more. She just waited until the next day. The next morning, when Yagyu and the others arrived, Kakashi was not there. Kakashi-sensei, he's late again. Sakura complained. It's been more than 2 hours since Kakashi said we'd meet at 6 in the morning. But Kakashi hasn't arrived yet. More than an hour later, it was almost 10 o'clock. Sasuke and Sakura were getting a little impatient, and Yagyu even brought a fishing rod with him to fish. Yo, good morning. What the hell? Kakashi suddenly appeared, causing Sakura, who had been angry for a long time, to completely explode. Yagyu and Sasuke had expected this, so they did not have too many emotions. Sorry, I met a black cat on the way here, blocking my way. Kakashi scratched his head and smiled seriously, leaving Haruno Sakura speechless. Now that we are here, let's get started, Sasuke said with a little impatience. Kakashi looked at Sasuke and Yagyu and smiled slightly. It seems that you are not surprised by my lateness. This is not the first time we have met, we know each other well. Yagyu scratched his ears and said disdainfully. Oh, so you guys had breakfast. Have eaten. Quote. Kakashi scratched his head in confusion and said, how should I put it? You guys left a very bad impression on me. Yagyu spread his hands, Sasuke crossed his arms, and Sakura was terrified. Forget it, since you have eaten it, I can't let you spit it out. Let's just practice, Kakashi said as he took out 2 bells from his ninja tool bag. Bell grabbing exercise. I have 2 bells here. I will hide them randomly in the forest. Your task is to find the bells before noon. At once, just grabbing the bell. Sakura looked incredulous. Could it be that the survival mission she had been worrying about for so long was actually that simple? Of course it won't be that simple. As if he heard Haruno Sakura's inner voice, Kakashi continued, I have set up traps all over the forest, and I will attack you while you are looking for bells. Those who are defeated by me will be eliminated and cannot pass the test. Those who fall into the trap will be eliminated and cannot pass the test. And those who don't have bells in the end will also be eliminated and cannot pass the test. Traps, and senior ninjas who can attack at any time. The difficulty of the entire survival exercise was suddenly raised. But now there is a very serious problem. Why are there only 2 bells? Teacher Kakashi, why are there only 2 bells? If those without bells will be eliminated, then doesn't that mean one of us 3 is destined to be eliminated? Sakura asked. Kakashi narrowed his eyes and replied, that's right, at least one of you 3 will be eliminated, and the other 2 will become a real genin after getting the bells. So be extra careful with your companions during the exercise, because they may attack you at any time in order to pass the test. Hearing this, Sasuke also became nervous. If only 2 people can pass the exam, it can only be Yagyu and whoever passes. Because he and Sakura will never be Yagyu's opponents. And if he and Sakura are just competing, he is confident that he can pass the test. But he is worried that Yagyu will attack him for Sakura, and the probability of passing the test is almost 0. Thinking of this, Sasuke subconsciously glanced at Yagyu and Sakura vigilantly, and stepped back half a step without a trace. Kakashi saw all this, his eyes smiled slightly, but he was a little disappointed in his heart. A ninja without companionship is not worthy of being a ninja. Sasuke's behavior will make his companions feel disappointed. Now it depends on whether the bond between the 3 is so fragile. Is it more important to become a ninja or companionship? I hope you won't let me down, otherwise even if your strength is comparable to that of a Jonin, I won't let you pass the test. Kakashi muttered in his heart. Yagyu and Sasuke are both unparalleled geniuses. The 3rd generation gave him a death order to make sure they pass the test. But he has his own principles. Even if he has to bear the pressure of the Hokage, he will not let them go. If Kakashi wanted to let them win, he could just continue playing the game of grabbing the bell. With the strength of the 3 Yagyu, as long as they cooperated properly, their chances of winning were at least 70%. And he could also prepare 3 bells, and the whole exercise would only test their personal abilities. But he wouldn't do that. Considering that the 3 were much stronger than the average rookies. Kakashi cancelled the rule of grabbing the bell and changed it to a mode of searching for the bell, making them suspicious of each other. Fight. 3 people searched for the bell, and only 2 people could get the bell. Who would be eliminated? Who was willing to be eliminated? This was an open conspiracy. Even if the 3 saw through it, it was useless. What a cunning teacher Kakashi. While Kakashi was hiding the bell, Yagyu told the 2 of them about Kakashi's plan. Sakura was furious after hearing this, and she clenched her fists, wishing she could give Kakashi a Rasengan. We must work together and not quarrel among ourselves, so that Kakashi's plan will fail, Sakura said. Sasuke said calmly, but there are really only 2 bells. Even if you say so, one person will definitely be eliminated. Sakura was speechless for a moment. There are really only 2 bells. Even if they say they won't fight for them, what will happen after they get the bells? Is anyone really willing to quit? Then I'll quit. Yagyu suddenly strangled the 2 people's necks and said with a smile, okay, stop thinking about it, the bell hasn't been found yet. Now we should think about how to avoid being successfully attacked by Kakashi. If we are eliminated without seeing the bell, there is no need to talk about who owns the bell. Sasuke thought about it and it made sense, so he said, then let's talk about it after we see the bell. Sakura was strangled by Yagyu's neck, her cheeks blushed, her brain stopped thinking, and she could only agree to it. After a while, Kakashi walked out of the forest. Let's start. I'll give you 2 minutes to go in. I'll come after you in 2 minutes. As soon as the words fell, the 3 Yagyu disappeared instantly. Their speed was no less than that of the Jonin. Kakashi couldn't help but admire their speed. What a handsome teleportation technique. This proficiency is not inferior to that of an elite Jonin. This is not only an evaluation of Yagyu, but also an evaluation of Sasuke and Sakura. Maybe the 2 are less powerful than Yagyu, but if they are proficient in basic skills such as the instant body technique, they will not be much different. Unless you can add some other changes to the instant body technique. In the forest of the training ground, Yagyu and the other 2 did not move forward quickly after entering, but strolled around slowly. After all, the training task is to find objects, or small things like bells. If you move too fast, it may not be easy to find the target. Of course, this is not a problem for Sasuke and Yagyu, because they both have Sharingan. After activating the Sharingan, a person's dynamic vision will be very powerful, and even the number of times a mosquito's wings flap can be counted. However, Yagyu's Sharingan cannot be exposed for the time being, and he cannot take advantage of this advantage. This is too slow, Kakashi will catch up soon. Sasuke looked around vigilantly, as if he was worried that Kakashi would attack them from any angle. But in Yagyu's perception, Kakashi had actually caught up with them a long time ago and was watching them in the dark. The 3 of us are together, so even if he catches up with us, we dare not attack rashly, after all, he may not be our opponent. Kakashi's mouth twitched in the dark. He should be the first leader who might be defeated by a student, right? But if we split up, he can defeat us one by one. This actually increases the possibility of our elimination. What can you do then? Sasuke frowned and said, there is less than an hour left before the end of the assessment. If we keep going so slowly, there is a high probability that we will not be able to find the bell. This forest is actually not big, and it only takes half an hour to walk around it slowly. But there is an unstable factor here, Hatake Kakashi. If they plan to fight a protracted war together, Kakashi can easily put away the bell before them, or keep changing the position of the bell so that they can't find it. In other words, they don't have many choices. They must speed up their search at the risk of falling into a trap or being defeated one by Kakashi. How about this? You go to the left, Sakura and I go to the right. If you encounter Kakashi's sneak attack, you can use a large-scale ninjutsu. We will rush back to support you as soon as possible. Good. Sasuke didn't want to act together. In his opinion, Yagyu did this just to take care of Haruno Sakura. Because Haruno Sakura is the weakest among the 3 of them, if she encounters Kakashi, she will most likely be killed before she can ask for help. If it weren't for Haruno Sakura, he and Yagyu would have found the bell long ago. Thinking of this, Sasuke sped up and left the team. He wanted to make up for the lost time. Kakashi, who was hiding in the dark, had been waiting for someone to leave the team. Now that Sasuke had left, he could take action. He glanced at Sasuke who left alone, then at Yagyu and Haruno Sakura, and finally chose Sasuke. He knew Sasuke very well and knew his strengths and weaknesses. There was still a possibility of quietly getting rid of the opponent with the help of traps. As for Yagyu and Haruno Sakura, he didn't know them that well. And Sasuke happened to focus on Yagyu. No matter how you look at it, Moonlight Yagyu is more difficult to deal with than Sasuke. Kakashi followed Sasuke until he was hundreds of meters away from Yagyu before he was ready to take action. There is a trap I set up ahead, I wonder if he will fall for it. Kakashi took out his shuriken, ready to strike when Sasuke is distracted. Sasuke did not notice the danger behind him, he opened his Sharingan and looked for the bell in the forest. Soon, he saw a golden flash in the center of a tree. Bell. Sasuke ran away, fearing that the bell would be snatched away if he was too slow. But at this moment he seemed to have stepped on some mechanism, and countless shurikens flew from all directions. Snort. A trifle. Sasuke instantly formed a seal, spat out a huge fireball, and turned 360 degrees in the air to knock down all the shurikens. The whole process did not delay him for a second, and he passed through the trap. However, just when he came to the tree and was about to dig out the core of the tree to take out the golden item inside, a figure appeared behind him. The strong sense of crisis made Sasuke immediately give up his action and leave the place in an instant. And the next second, Chidori's lightning directly penetrated the tree and turned it into a lightning-struck wood. Sasuke, who had just dodged, looked at the black tree with some lingering fear. He's serious. Even Chidori was used, and Sasuke knew that this exercise was not a game. He immediately wanted to use the dragon fire technique to call for support. But halfway through the seal, Sasuke suddenly stopped. He wanted to test the gap between himself and Konoha's elite Jonin. If I can defeat Kakashi, then maybe I'm not far from defeating Itachi. Thinking of this, Sasuke drew the sword behind him. Kakashi looked at Sasuke's action and was slightly surprised. Oh, you didn't even call for backup. Are you planning to take me out by yourself? I feel a little bit underestimated. Kakashi originally planned to escape. The key to assassination is to escape thousands of miles away if you miss the first strike. Sasuke alone is enough for him to deal with. When Yagyu and others come to support him, it will be even more impossible for him to succeed. But Sasuke is so arrogant that he wants to deal with him alone. This is an opportunity for Kakashi. He held a kunai and disappeared in an instant. Sasuke also disappeared at the same time. The two figures are like ghosts, constantly colliding in the forest. Secret. Moon Shadow. Sasuke's movements left countless afterimages, and his strange swordsmanship caught Kakashi off guard and sent him flying. The secret technique of the Gecko family. You have a really good relationship with Gecko Yagyu. He even taught you this kind of move. Kakashi said, rubbing his numb right wrist. Sasuke did not comment. Do I have to tell you about the fact that Yagyu and I are brothers of the same clan? He looked at Kakashi indifferently and said, use your Sharingan, otherwise you won't be able to keep up with my speed later. As Kakashi had taught him Chidori, he naturally knew that Kakashi had a Sharingan. And he knew the origin of this one, so he had no opinion on Kakashi. Gecko Yagyu could give him the family secret technique at will, so what if other tribesmen gave their eyes to outsiders? After all, this was not his eye and had nothing to do with him. Kakashi was not arrogant. At this time, Sasuke opened the two Magatama Sharingan, and his insight was even better than his. If he only used one eye to fight, it would be impossible to find Sasuke's flaws. He gently pulled down part of the mask with his hand, revealing a scarred Sharingan. Then I will go all out. The two pairs of Sharingan activated at the same time, and the 3 and 2 Magatama rotated in the pupils. The next moment, the two disappeared from the spot. The sound of the two fighting again rang out in the forest. Art Fire Escape Ho Fireball. Fire Style. Great Fireball Technique. When the two of them were in no particular order, they used the same ninjutsu. The strong explosion caused countless thick smoke to force the two to retreat. At this time, Sasuke gritted his teeth and looked at Kakashi on the other side with full vigilance. In the previous battle, he did not gain any advantage, and was even somewhat suppressed. His 2 Magatama were not as powerful as Kakashi's 1-3 Magatama. Is the gap between 2 Magatama and 3 Magatama really that big? Swordsmanship, physical skills, and even ninjutsu, Kakashi did not use any other moves, and completely copied his moves. But he was suppressed in this way. This is simply unbelievable. Similarly, Kakashi was no less shocked by Sasuke than he was. After I activated the 3 Magatama, ordinary Jonins were not my opponents. But Sasuke was not much weaker than himself in the case of physical skills, swordsmanship, and ninjutsu being copied. What a terrible talent is this! But such a genius was suppressed by another genius, Gekko Yagyu. How strong is he? Kakashi looked solemn. He felt that he might fail in this assessment. Thinking of this, Kakashi grabbed his right hand with his left hand. Lightning burst out in his hand. He planned to make a quick decision. Seeing this, Sasuke also understood, and also grabbed his right hand with his left hand and began to gather lightning. One move will determine the outcome. He will not be afraid of Kakashi. Cry. Two sharp bird calls rang in the forest. As time went on, Kakashi took the lead in accumulating the power of Chidori and rushed towards Sasuke. Although Sasuke has mastered Chidori for a long time, he is still slightly inferior to Kakashi and rushed out 2 seconds later. The two of them rushed towards each other like two lightning bolts, one in front and one behind. In an instant, the two Chidori faced Chidori, lightning against lightning. The explosion, mixed with flashes that people could not look directly at, engulfed the forest within a radius of more than 10 meters. Bang! The violent explosion shook the birds to fly and the beasts to run wildly. Yagyu and Sakura, who were 1,000 meters away, were also attracted by the movement. There was a fight. Sasuke must have been attacked by Kakashi-sensei, Sakura said in surprise. Yagyu jumped up and flew to the treetops. Standing high up, he saw several lightning bolts that had not yet disappeared. It was obvious that the two had just used powerful lightning ninjutsu to fight. Don't use fire style, use lightning style. Sasuke didn't take my words to heart. Yagyu looked at the traces of the two fighting and guessed what Sasuke was thinking. He wanted to use Kakashi to measure his own ability. But both of you have little chakra. In the end, I'm afraid it depends on whose chakra is exhausted first. Yagyu shook his head and flew down the tree. Let's go, Sakura, let's go and take a look. If we go there now, Kakashi and Sasuke are probably no longer there. But we haven't found them after searching for a long time, so we might as well change the direction. A few minutes later, Yagyu and Sakura came to the place where Sasuke fought. It had become a ruin, with trees blown to the ground and several holes in the open space. After Sakura landed, she saw the tree that Kakashi had pierced with Chidori. The heart of the tree had become charred black, which showed that the two had not held back at all in the fight. Using this level of ninjutsu, is Kakashi going to kill Sasuke? Although Sasuke spoke coldly, Sakura still spoke for him as a companion. After taking a look at him, Yagyu said, if we go on missions in the future, we will inevitably encounter more dangerous battles. Whoever holds back may die. Kakashi fought with all his might, probably to teach Sasuke this truth. But considering Sasuke's personality, he might be worrying too much. But you, Sakura, must not be careless and show mercy when fighting hostile ninjas. You will die. Sakura could not understand the consequences of doing so. Perhaps only when she really experienced a life and death crisis would she understand the real meaning of Yagyu's words. But although she didn't understand, she still nodded obediently. I know, Yagyu-kun. Among the three girls, Yagyu liked Sakura the most for another reason. Obedient. Maybe she didn't understand, maybe she didn't know whether it was right or wrong. But as long as it was words of concern and admonition, she was willing to listen and think seriously. Of course, even if Sakura didn't listen or made a mistake, he wouldn't be angry. At most, he would advise her again in a nice voice. And even with these few words of concern and advice, Sakura was very happy. How good is it to be cared for and cared for by the person you like? But for Yagyu, it's just a matter of words. After Sasuke and Kakashi exchanged Chidori, he felt that nearly half of the chakra in his body had been consumed. Considering that he would need to find the bell next, Sasuke did not intend to fight Kakashi to exhaustion. Moreover, through the previous fight, he had already seen that the gap between him and Kakashi was not that big, and he might even win if he fought to the death. Because he saw that Kakashi's Sharingan seemed unable to close. If they continued to fight, it was not certain who would outlast the other. He rubbed his numb right arm. The power of Chidori was still too great, and the power of the collision of two Chidori was not something his current body could withstand. At present, the biggest gap between him and Kakashi was probably physical fitness. The golden thing just now should not be a bell, otherwise it would have been pierced by Kakashi's Chidori and would have been gone. Traps. And there are many of them. On the way of escape, Sasuke saw many similar golden lights. But there were traps all around. Considering that Kakashi was chasing him, Sasuke planned to check it out later. Now he had to recover his right hand first, otherwise he might not be able to hold the sword steadily when fighting again later. Kakashi, who was chasing behind at this time, was not completely fine. His right sleeve was pitch black, obviously burned by electricity. But his arm was not injured, and it would not affect his hand seals and ninjutsu. But as Sasuke guessed, his chakra consumption was a bit large, although it was less than 1/3, but if he continued to chase like this, he would not have much combat power even if he caught up with Sasuke. If Yagyu and others appeared at this time, he would probably be defeated by his own disciples. Inexplicably, this freshman assessment has become a challenge for him. Alas, it is even more difficult than the A-level mission. It is really troublesome. Kakashi sighed, glanced at Sasuke who was still in his sight, hesitated and chose not to chase. Anyway, they were looking for the bell, and he could completely recover his chakra and set a few traps to wait for them. Thinking of this, Kakashi opened his ninja tool bag, which contained 2 bells and some golden iron sheets. He took out a golden iron sheet, buried it in a nearby place, exposing a golden corner, and then pasted a few detonating tags nearby. After thinking about it, he thought it was not enough, so he applied a little anesthetic poison on the golden iron sheet. People are treacherous. Even if you don't work for me in the future, I hope you can learn more about the dangers of the ninja world, grow up as soon as possible, and contribute to Konoha. Based on Sasuke's character, he no longer has hope that the 3 can pass his assessment. In the previous fight, Sasuke had every opportunity to escape to the direction of Yagyu for help. But he didn't. Even if he felt he was not an opponent, he had to solve it himself. This kind of pride is understandable in a genius, but doing so during a mission is irresponsible to himself, the mission, and his companions. Selfish, maverick. He used to be like this, until Obito died and he came to his senses. At the cost of his companions' lives, in exchange for his own growth. This is not a good thing. If possible, Kakashi hopes that all ninjas can understand the importance of their companions at the lowest cost, and not wait until they lose them to appreciate them. Sasuke on the other side saw that Kakashi did not chase him anymore and sneered. After running for a distance, he found a remote cave, drove away the bear living inside, and moved in. Kakashi wanted to recover his chakra, and so did he. And because his right hand was injured, it would probably take longer to recover. A quarter of an hour later, Sasuke's chakra was about half recovered, and his right arm was not so numb anymore. Although I can recover all my chakra in half an hour, I don't have enough time. Sasuke muttered to himself and walked out of the bear cave. His brows knitted unconsciously. After staying in the dark for a while, he was a little uncomfortable with the glaring light. Although it was not so severe that he could not open his eyes, it made him see things less clearly. There seemed to be some imaginary little earthworms moving in the air. I don't know if Yagyu and the others found the bells. Thinking of only 2 bells, Sasuke subconsciously clenched his fists. No more time to waste. Sasuke jumped directly into the air, but his body touched some imperceptible silk threads. Looking closely, he found that someone had pasted a detonating talisman at the entrance of the cave. Sasuke had no time to dodge in midair, so he could only put his hands in front of him to reduce the damage. With a bang, Sasuke was blown several meters away and fell to the ground. Before he could get up and react, countless shurikens flew from all directions. Sasuke rolled a few times in a hurry to dodge. At this time, Kakashi appeared where he was dodging, and the Chidori in his hand was against his face, as if he would pierce his brain in the next second. Sasuke didn't dare to move, and countless cold sweat fell on his forehead. It's finally out. I waited for you for so long. How did you find me? Sasuke looked unwilling. He was caught by Kakashi, which meant he was eliminated. Thinking of this, he subconsciously clenched his fists. Failure. Except facing Yagyu, he could not accept any failure. Kakashi pointed to the fainted bear not far away, squinted and smiled. That guy has been wandering around here, looking at his own cave but not daring to go in. I can see that someone is hiding in it. That's why I set a trap and wait for you to take the bait. I should have killed this beast earlier, Sasuke said coldly. Kakashi teased, if you kill him, there will be a bloody smell. Although ordinary people can't smell it, ninjas have their own methods, so it is inevitable. Whether you kill him or not, you can't escape. Sasuke was silent, so what was the best way? Continue to escape? Or change to a safer place? No, even if he changed the place, he would be found. If Kakashi had the means to judge the smell of blood, he must have the means to detect his smell. Cover up the smell, don't trust animals, and it's best to set up a boundary trap at the door. Sasuke learned a lot of knowledge when he was caught by Kakashi this time. Kakashi withdrew Chidori and said to Sasuke, you have been eliminated, and there will be no share of your lunch later. Sasuke was still silent. He was eliminated, and he didn't care so much about a mere lunch. Besides, he had breakfast and was not hungry at all. As if he had guessed what Sasuke was thinking. Kakashi said, if the two of them still don't find the bell before noon, you'll have another chance this afternoon. Hearing that there was still a chance, Sasuke's eyes lit up, then he frowned. Wasn't I eliminated? He remembered that the rules did not say that he could be resurrected. If it was not a rule in the rules, then it was charity. Sasuke would not ask Kakashi for any charity. Kakashi glanced at Sasuke and said, someone has to grab the bell. What does my elimination have to do with their failure to grab the bell? Do all the eliminated people have another chance? Sasuke asked coldly. It doesn't matter, but they didn't find the bell within the specified time, which is also a kind of elimination. So you are no different. After hearing what Kakashi said, Sasuke could accept it in his heart. Not finding the bell and being defeated by Kakashi are both considered elimination. There is no difference between the two. At this time, Kakashi suddenly pretended to be deep and said, of course, not all eliminated people will get another chance. How can we get this opportunity? Sasuke asked with a cold expression. Kakashi took out Jiraiya's masterpiece from his ninja tool bag and read it, then casually said the new rules. Kill Haruno, Sakura. Sasuke's pupils shrank suddenly, and his eyes widened, as if he had heard something unbelievable. Why? Sasuke's eyes revealed confusion and doubt. He had never heard of any ninja who had to fight each other to become a ninja. Of course, most of his knowledge of ninjas was only heard from the Uchiha clan. He didn't know how other ninjas in Konoha operated. Ninja resources are limited. Whether it is me or other Jonin, we will have our own way to eliminate unqualified ninjas, and my way is to kill useless people. Sasuke was silent for a long time. He did not agree or reject it. He did not figure it out until he left the forest. And Kakashi did not continue to induce him, but just gave him such a choice. Whether he did it or not was up to Sasuke himself. Soon it was noon. Yagayu and Sakura found a dozen golden iron sheets and destroyed dozens of traps, but did not find a bell. Really, there are so many fake bells and so many insidious traps, Mr. Kakashi is so hateful. Just now, Sakura was hit by the anesthetic poison prepared by Kakashi and fainted for a while. At this time, Kakashi came out to attack them. If it weren't for Yagayu's protection, she would have been taken away and eliminated. Sakura punched in the air in her heart, wishing to beat Kakashi up. As for the bells, Yagayu didn't care at all. And he guessed that there was no real bell here. The bell must have been hidden by Kakashi. Or it was not in the forest at all. With Kakashi's calculations, he would definitely not let them pass the test easily. After all, looking for bells was not the real content of his test. Kakashi gave them a deadline of noon, but prepared 2 box lunches. Obviously, he had expected that they would not pass the test. After leaving the forest, they saw Sasuke, who was meditating in a daze at a glance. Sasuke. Sakura saw Sasuke waving happily, but Sasuke ignored her actions, which made Sakura a little dissatisfied. Humph, you pretentious guy. Sakura would not curry favor with someone she didn't like, so she turned around and hugged Yagayu's arm. My Yagayu is still the best, handsome, strong and gentle. Looking at the two of them, Yagayu just found it funny. He patted Sakura's hand and said, Sasuke has always been like this, you know that, don't be angry with him. After that, Yagayu walked in front of Sasuke. What, are you unhappy after being beaten up by Kakashi? HMPH. Tsunere Sasuke snorted coldly, not even wanting to pay attention to Yagyu. He is still struggling whether to kill Haruno Sakura, because only by killing her can he regain the chance to become a ninja. But he is also worried whether killing Haruno Sakura will provoke Yagyu. If this matter will lead to a breakup between him and Yagyu, he doesn't want to do that. This is not because he has a deep bond with Yagyu, but because he needs Yagyu to help him get revenge. And Yagyu is his only clan member in this world, and he doesn't want to offend Yagyu because of this matter. The revival of Uchiha cannot do without Yagyu's help. He glanced at Haruno Sakura inconspicuously, wondering if she had received Kakashi's mission. If Kakashi asked Haruno Sakura to kill himself or Yagyu, would she do it? Thinking of this, Sasuke actually became a little nervous. It's not that he is worried that he will be killed by Haruno Sakura, but mainly worried about Yagyu. With the relationship between Yagyu and Haruno Sakura has many opportunities to kill Yagyu. No, Haruno Sakura must not be allowed to succeed. Yagyu. Just when Sasuke was about to tell Yagyu this secret, Kakashi suddenly appeared. At the same time, he was holding 2 lunch boxes in his hands. It's past noon, and none of you have passed the assessment. Congratulations, you are all eliminated. Kakashi said with a smile, and seemed very happy that the 3 were eliminated. Sakura said unhappily, the forest is so big, and the bell is so small. You have set up so many traps and tricks. How can it be so easy to find it? Kakashi did not comment. There are many ninjas in this world who have special reconnaissance abilities. You can't blame the forest for being big and the bell for being small, and you can't blame the traps I set. You can only blame your lack of ability, do you understand? Does this mean that if you fail a mission in the future you can blame it on the enemy being too strong or the mission being too difficult? If the mission is not difficult, what are the ninjas needed for? Sakura was speechless and could only keep silent. Kakashi did not continue to criticize her. He stopped at that point and said with a smile, but you don't have to worry. Although you didn't pass the test this morning, I will give you another chance in the afternoon. As he said that, he glanced at Sasuke, which made Sasuke's heart tremble. Are you urging me to do it? Sasuke secretly clenched his fists, still hesitant. At this time, Sakura said happily, there is still an afternoon. Great, Teacher Kakashi, you are so kind. Kakashi raised the corners of his mouth, put 2 lunchboxes in front of Yagyu and Sakura, and suddenly said seriously. Sasuke is the first to be eliminated, so he has no lunchbox today. You 2 can each have 1. Remember, you can't give it to Sasuke, otherwise you 2 will be completely eliminated. Do you understand? Sakura was frightened by Kakashi and nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. Yagyu didn't respond and even yawned. The sun was shining brightly, suitable for a nap. Kakashi glanced at Yagyu speechlessly, and knew that he couldn't scare this kid. When they were fighting in the forest just now, he found that he was not Yagyu's opponent. He tried his best, but Yagyu was able to suppress him while protecting Haruno Sakura. It's incredible. Preliminary judgment is that this guy is at least 10 times stronger than Sasuke in terms of physical skills, ninjutsu and swordsmanship. I really don't know how this kid trained. He can't be so strong even if he has been practicing ninjutsu since he was born. The most outrageous thing is that this guy is very durable. After a few Chidori, most of his chakra was gone. But Yagyu was as if he had no loss, and threw out his ultimate move as if he didn't need chakra. Alas, this demon is much stronger than I was back then. If he passes the test, I may not be able to control him. I don't know why the 3rd generation kept him in the position of genin, is it just to let him transition? Thinking of himself going straight to the battlefield after graduation, Kakashi felt that times have changed. The 3rd generation protects geniuses too well. Kakashi left, but no one knew if he was hiding in the dark and watching them. 3 people, 2 lunch boxes. Sasuke closed his eyes and meditated, as if he didn't care at all because he didn't have his own lunch box. Sakura swallowed, staring at the lunch box, wanting to eat it. Although she had breakfast, that was several hours ago. After going through the survival exercise and consuming a lot of chakra, she was already hungry. But Yagyu didn't move, and she was embarrassed to move. Moreover, Sasuke couldn't eat, but she, as his companion, couldn't wait to eat, which made her a little embarrassed. At this time, Yagayu became active. He picked up a lunch box, opened it, tasted each dish, then handed it to Sakura and said, "Eat it, it's not poisonous." "This. Are you testing drugs? Well, weren't you poisoned by Kakashi's paralysis poison just now in the forest? Given how insidious Kakashi is, it's better to be careful." Sasuke glanced at Yagayu without leaving a trace. He didn't expect that he would do this for his companions. If I were to eat this meal, would he test the poison for me? No. What am I thinking? This guy must be trying to pick up girls, what a boring guy. Although thinking this way, Sasuke still felt deeply about Yagayu's behavior, so that he was even more entangled in the matter of killing Sakura. Kill, or not kill, this is a question. Kakashi in the dark was speechless. This kid, that's pretty cautious, but if I really put some poison in it, you'd die. Even if you're testing the poison on yourself for your companions, it's too much. Can't you try it on an animal? No, this kid can't be stupid if he suspects that I might poison them. He tried the poison himself to prove that I wouldn't poison them dangerously. He also did it to show his confidence in front of Sakura. This guy, he didn't forget to flirt with girls during the survival drill. As expected, Sakura was deeply moved after hearing this, but also a little worried. "Mr. Yagayu, let me do the poison testing from now on. You are the best among us. If you are poisoned, we will not be able to pass the test." "No, I learned a lot from today's exercise. I plan to train a group of spiritual beasts to test poisons." "Isn't it too cruel to use summoned beasts to test poisons?" Sakura said reluctantly. Yagayu shook his head and said, "Since it is a test of poison, we can't use summoned beasts that will die after eating poison. It would be best to find some summoned beasts that are resistant to poison and can treat toxins." "I see. Then shall I start? Well, eat." Seeing Sakura eating heartily, Yagayu smiled slightly and glanced at Sasuke, who was pretending to be calm. Haha, still pretending. Yagayu opened the second lunch box and ate every dish in it. Then he pushed it to Sasuke and said, "Don't play dead, eat something. There is a test in the afternoon. If you don't recover some strength, you are no match for Kakashi." Sasuke opened his eyes, looked at Yagayu, and said indifferently, "Didn't Kakashi say that only you two can eat the lunch box? If you give it to me, you will be eliminated." Yagayu shrugged and said nonchalantly, "What are you afraid of? At worst, I can just not be a ninja under him. With our strength, are you still worried about having no place to go?" Sasuke thought so too. Why must I be a ninja? And why must I be a ninja under Kakashi? Is it because he also has the Sharingan? Or because he taught me the Chidori? Sasuke didn't believe that Kakashi had any special appreciation or friendship for him. In his opinion, Kakashi taught him the Chidori purely out of compensation for his guilt towards the Uchiha clan. The Uchiha senior gave him the Sharingan, so he taught him the Chidori. This was just a deal. Even if Sasuke wanted to thank someone, he should thank the Uchiha senior. Although it is true that being a ninja under anyone does not affect my goal, I still feel stupid if I give up this opportunity for a meal. Sasuke rejected Yagayu's kindness, because it was not worth offending Kakashi for a meal. He could not eat this meal for no other reason than friendship. It was just a matter of being hungry for a lunch. This kind of thing was not a big deal for a ninja with the strength of a Jonin. Moreover, he had a ration pill hidden in his ninja bag. If he was not worried about being accused of cheating, he would have taken out the ration pill from the ninja bag and eaten it. In that case, forget it. Yagayu didn't intend to force Sasuke to eat this bite of rice. In Sasuke's words, it was just a bite of rice. Eating it or not didn't mean anything. If Kakashi eliminated them because they failed to share the rice with Sasuke, then he would have nothing to say. Seeing that Yagayu gave up sharing the rice with Sasuke, Kakashi sighed. He could see that Yagayu cared about his companions, but this was based on his strong strength and self-confidence and ignoring his threats. He didn't have anything to control Yagayu, so even if Yagayu took the initiative to share food with Sasuke, it didn't meet the standard in his mind. Because everything he did was not enough to test his understanding of his companions. Sakura, on the other hand, Kakashi looked at Sakura, who was still concentrating on eating, and he was somewhat expectant. Yagayu had a very good relationship with Sasuke and Sakura. Among the three, only Sasuke and Sakura had a cold relationship. This was something his team would not allow to exist. If Sakura was willing to share her food with Sasuke, and Sasuke could give up the opportunity to become a ninja for Sakura, Kakashi thought maybe he could give them a pass. Sasuke, why don't you eat something? Sakura began to persuade him. Perhaps because she felt guilty and embarrassed to let Sasuke watch her eat. Teacher Kakashi is not here, so it's okay for you to eat a little secretly. Sasuke glanced at Sakura. Although he was surprised that Sakura cared about him, he still said coldly, don't treat everyone as idiots. Since Kakashi has stated this rule, he will definitely not give us this loophole. His leaving might be a trap, waiting for you two to feed me. Now he might be hiding in some corner and peeking at me. Kakashi, Yagyu and Sasuke are both so smart. His plan can't test the friendship of the three of them at all. Sakura panicked when she heard that Kakashi might be hiding somewhere. I just wanted to feed Sasuke, didn't Kakashi see it? Teacher Kakashi is so despicable. He actually used a trap to enforce the law. Kakashi. The lunch was unexpectedly finished. Sasuke didn't eat a single bite, but Yagyu and Sakura were full. Kakashi's test could not be considered passed or failed. It could only be said that both the result and the process were unexpected. After observing for a while, Kakashi came out. He didn't mention eating at all, as if he had just come back. But no one believed that Kakashi had been setting traps in the forest. From just now until now, Kakashi had at least one shadow clone secretly observing them. The new trap has been set. Yagyu and Sakura, you go in first to search. Sasuke will be eliminated first, so go 5 minutes later. 5 minutes later. Yagyu glanced at Kakashi and felt something was wrong. The current assessment content can be said to be completely different from the original. The original assessment should have ended at lunch. But they have to continue. At this point, Yagyu also guessed that Kakashi definitely did not hide the bell in the forest. This is just a sleight of hand. After all, the purpose of Kakashi's exercise mission is not to find the bell, but to test their feelings. So he left Sasuke behind specifically. Is this a test for Sasuke? Thinking of this, Yagyu patted Sasuke on the shoulder and whispered in his ear, be careful of Kakashi's conspiracy. After that, he and Sakura left first. Sasuke looked at Yagyu's back thoughtfully. Conspiracy. Did he guess that Kakashi asked him to kill Haruno Sakura? It shouldn't be possible. Yagyu should be trying to tell me that Kakashi is not trustworthy. Just when Sasuke was thinking about it, Kakashi spoke. That was a good opportunity just now, both of them were not prepared for you, why didn't you take action? Sasuke looked at Kakashi coldly, I didn't promise you to kill anyone. Kakashi said noncommittally, it's up to you, you can go in and look for the bell in 5 minutes, but the bell you find will only be valid if you kill Haruno Sakura, otherwise it will be invalid and you will be eliminated. Sasuke frowned, wanting to say something but stopping himself. 5 minutes passed quickly, and Sasuke entered the forest again without wasting a second. Kakashi followed closely behind. Considering the strength, he had given up on conducting more tests on Yagyu and Sakura. And Kakashi also felt that the performance of the two in this test was remarkable. Only Sasuke was a problem boy. Sasuke moved forward all the way, turning on his Sharingan on the way to look for any suspicious traces regardless of chakra consumption. However, because Kakashi did not put the bell in it at all he found along the way were traps, and there was no real bell at all. Half an hour passed quickly, and Sasuke was still looking for the bell, with no sign of taking action against Sakura. This also made Kakashi a little anxious. If Sasuke did not make a decision quickly, I am afraid that the afternoon test time will pass quickly. Moreover, other teams at the same time must have finished the test long ago. At this time, the only one still taking the test might be their Team 7. Are you planning to find the bell first? Kakashi thought about it, and decided to hide the real bell on the road ahead of Sasuke. He didn't put it in a very conspicuous place, after all, that would be too obvious. It was as if he was letting the water out. He found a tree canopy, placed it inside a bird's nest at the top, and then set some traps nearby. However, the purpose of these traps is not to prevent Sasuke from getting the bell, but to remind him that this place is different, so that Sasuke will not miss it if he can't find the bell in the bird's nest. After a while, Sasuke really passed by here. Click, a crisp sound triggered a trap. The grass under Sasuke's feet collapsed and fell instantly. Obviously, this was a whole trap. Sasuke reacted quickly and immediately used the instant body technique to leave the spot and jump onto the tree. Standing on the branch and looking down, Sasuke saw the densely packed detonating tags inside, and cold sweat ran down his forehead. Is that Kakashi going to kill us? Tisk. Sasuke gritted his teeth and was about to leave. But suddenly a golden flash caught his eyes. Another fake. Sasuke looked up and found 2 golden spots in a bird's nest. 2. This was the first time Sasuke saw 2 fakes. At this time, he no longer believed that he could find the real bell. He also began to suspect that the bell was not actually inside, and everything was a lie of Kakashi's test. But just in case, he still flew up to take a look. However, he was very cautious and sent a shadow clone to explore the way. The bells may not be real, but the traps are real. Detonating tags, shuriken, kunai traps, poison, etc., each trap can cause serious injuries or even death to the victims. It is also this kind of trap that tells Sasuke that Kakashi's statement about killing Haruno Sakura to pass the test is not a joke. This is an assessment about life. The shadow clone removed some invisible white lines and found a wooden cage. It was found that there were several detonating tags posted on both sides of the bird's nest, waiting for him to get close to detonate. And inside the bird's nest were 2 real bells. Shuriken, cloud-seeking hand. Sasuke did not approach the bird's nest, but used the shuriken to knock the entire nest away. The eggs inside were broken because the shuriken pierced through them, and the yolk and eggshell made the bell dirty. At this time, Sasuke's shadow clone walked up to pick up the bell and wiped it clean with his clothes. Is this true? Sasuke couldn't believe what the shadow clone had in his hand. He didn't expect that he would be the first to find the bells. And he found 2 bells at once. Now all that's left is to kill Haruno Sakura. Meanwhile, Yagyu and Sakura had given up on finding the bell. They were sure that the bell was not in the forest, and Kakashi had no intention of bothering them. So they simply found a comfortable place to lie down and grilled a rabbit. So when Sasuke and Kakashi found them, they were both filled with questions. Sakura, it's time to turn it over. Mr. Yagyu, didn't we just eat this rabbit? So cute now. It smells so good now, can you smell it? Is it good? Gurgle, delicious. Right, add some cumin, it will be more fragrant. Yagyu took out a small bottle and handed it to Sakura, making Sakura laugh and cry. Mr. Yagyu, why do you carry this thing with you? Ah, it's always a good idea to prepare more things when you go out. Look, I also prepared hot sauce, salt, an iron pot, and tap water. Yagyu opened a storage scroll and took out the items one by one to introduce them. This made Sakura and the other 2 couldn't help but twitch their lips. Sasuke couldn't stand it anymore and walked over. Yagyu also noticed Sasuke at the first time. Sasuke, have you found the bell? Yagyu thought Sasuke would come to meet him soon after his reminder, but he still chose to act on his own. Found it. I guessed Kakashi. Did you find it? Yes. Sasuke took out 2 bells from his ninja tool bag. 2 golden, round things. They looked like real bells. How could there be real bells? Did I guess wrong? In fact, the bells have always been in the forest, but I just didn't find them. Where did you find it? Yagyu snatched the bell from Sasuke's hand and asked while looking at it. Sasuke did not dodge and let Yagyu take the bell. Then he pointed behind him and said, it's in a bird's nest on a tree about 800 meters in that direction. That direction. Yagyu groaned for a moment. He felt that he should have looked for that place. As for the so-called bird's nest, he had naturally seen it. In other words, this bell was set up by Kakashi not long ago. Is the purpose to let Sasuke get the bell? Why, cheating? Probably not. This should be Kakashi's trap. The purpose is to create a conflict between us. Yagyu looked at Sasuke with a strange expression. Is this kid going to do something stupid? But he took out both bells directly. He should have seen through Kakashi's conspiracy. After all, if he wanted to do something stupid, he would not expose both bells. Just take out one, or neither of them. Throwing both bells back to Sasuke, Yagyu said, since you have found the bells, you can go out. Why do you have to come to us specifically? Sasuke had a blank expression on his face and stuffed another bell to Yagyu. This is for you. Give it to me. Yagyu didn't know why Sasuke gave it to him, but he accepted it without hesitation. Sakura was a little sad when she saw this scene. Sasuke found 2 bells and gave one to Yagyu, so she was the one who was eliminated. But soon she felt relieved. She couldn't compare with Yagyu and Sasuke. If one of the 3 had to be eliminated, she should be the one to be eliminated. Just when Sakura was thinking about it, Sasuke suddenly threw something at her. She caught it subconsciously, and when she looked closely, she found it was a bell. Ah, Sasuke, why give it to me? Yagyu also looked puzzled. When did Sasuke become so generous? He would rather not pass the test himself than help himself and Sakura pass the test. At this time, Sasuke said, I'm not as great as you think. It's just that I was the first to be eliminated. Kakashi asked me to complete a certain condition before I can graduate. In other words, it's useless for me to get the bell. Sakura felt guilty and said anxiously, what condition? We can help you complete it. You don't have to give this bell to me. You and Yagyu are better than me, and you deserve to graduate more than me. Sasuke looked at Sakura deeply without explaining. Then he turned his head and prepared to leave. He planned to go back and continue to practice in seclusion until one day he could take revenge. Kakashi, hiding in the dark, had been observing Sasuke's movements. He even made plans to rescue Haruno Sakura. But he didn't expect Sasuke to give up this opportunity and transfer the bell to Sakura and Yagyu. This also gave Kakashi a new understanding of Sasuke. He flashed out and stopped Sasuke, who was about to leave. No need to go. Congratulations, you all passed the assessment. Quote. Kakashi summarized his observations of the 3 during the exam and told them, from Yagyu and Sakura being inseparable, to Sasuke's eccentricity, to their mutual understanding during lunch, to Sasuke's initiative to give up graduation to help his 2 teammates. He even informed Yagyu and Sakura of the conditions for Sasuke's graduation. He did not hesitate to praise the 3 of them, but Sakura was still very dissatisfied when she knew that Kakashi had used his own life to test Sasuke. You actually used my life to threaten Sasuke. You were really going too far, Teacher Kakashi. Sorry, Sakura. Kakashi scratched his head and apologized to Sakura, then turned to Sasuke and said, Sasuke, you too. I'm sorry to test your feelings in this way. Sasuke had a blank expression on his face, and he didn't seem to care about this kind of thing. So Kakashi said again, although the process is a bit tortuous, the result is always good. At least you know that your companions are trustworthy, so you can rest assured to leave your back to your companions during the mission. The 3 looked at each other, with different thoughts. Sakura's expression changed from resentment to happiness. After all, Sasuke is not Naruto. Although he is not as good as Yagyu, he is also a very outstanding classmate. So Sakura doesn't hate Sasuke. She is naturally happy that Sasuke is her companion. Sasuke's expression did not change, but he felt that Kakashi's statement was very boring. Except for revenge and the revitalization of Uchiha, other things are dispensable to him. His attitude towards Yagyu is different because Yagyu is his only remaining tribe member. As for Yagyu, his mind has drifted to what to eat for dinner. Konoha was very quiet at night, with a lonely moon hanging in the sky. A figure flew by handsomely. In the Hokage building, a white-haired figure suddenly appeared and knelt on one knee. 3rd generation, Team 7 has passed the assessment and can accept missions starting tomorrow. Sarutobi Hiruzen was reading a document and did not respond to Kakashi immediately. After a while, Sarutobi Hiruzen signed the document and put it down before looking at Kakashi. Sarutobi Hiruzen picked up the cigarette on the table and knocked it, then put it in his mouth and took a sip intoxicatedly, and said, it seems that the genius assessment is not easy. Thank you for your hard work, Kakashi. Shin has fulfilled his mission. Kakashi responded with a resounding voice. Sarutobi Hiruzen asked in a low voice, did they pass your test? Yes. Since leaving the Anbu, Kakashi has not graduated any rookie team. But Sarutobi Hiruzen felt that it was not appropriate to let other Jonin teach this genius class, especially since there was a genius from the Uchiha clan among them. Kakashi is the only one who knows how to teach. So Sarutobi Hiruzen actually gave a death order, asking Kakashi to pass their assessment. If Yagyu and the others cannot reach Kakashi's standard, Kakashi will lead them as a temporary Jonin for half a year. Anyway, the Chunin exam will be in half a year, and as long as they pass this half year, Yagyu and the others will be Chunin. In this case, there is no need for Kakashi to lead the team anymore. Now that Yagyu and the others can pass Kakashi's assessment is an unexpected surprise for Sarutobi Hiruzen. It seems that I made the right choice to put the three of them into a small team, haha. Sarutobi Hiruzen laughed happily, as if he had made some wise and heroic decision. Yagyu and Sasuke are both rare geniuses and the future of Konoha. You must strive to teach them their shortcomings and make them more attached to Konoha. I understand, third generation. Kakashi nodded. Yeah, Sarutobi Hiruzen took out a scroll from a pile and placed it on the table, saying, it's a bit of a waste for your team to do a D-level mission with their strength, but we have to take one step at a time. After all, this is the first time to do a mission, so we should start with the simplest one. When you have completed 10 D-level tasks, come back to me. I will arrange some higher-level tasks for you. I understand, third generation master. The strength of Gekko Yagyu and Sasuke is not inferior to Kakashi. Sakura's basic ability is also very solid. She carries a sword on her back. It seems that she has learned swordsmanship from Yagyu. Her strength should not be underestimated. Such a team is stronger than the average Jonin team. It is a waste of talent to let them do D-level tasks. Even if Sarutobi Hiruzen directly assigns a B-level task to Kakashi, Kakashi has no objection. The next day, Yagyu, who is used to sleeping late, got up from the bed in a daze. Looking at the sun that has not risen above his head, he sighed. I can still let the shadow clones handle it when I'm at school, but I'm afraid I can't be perfunctory about this team gathering. Although shadow clones are not easy to see through, they are still easy to spot for an elite Jonin who keeps his Sharingan open all the time. He climbed out of bed with difficulty and came to the mirror in the bathroom. Looking at his messy hair, he scratched it a few times. The fluffy hair suddenly became stylish. He brushed his teeth for 3 minutes and washed his face with clean water to make himself completely awake. Looking at his handsome self in the mirror, Yagyu murmured, so handsome. Now that I have graduated, I should find a time to challenge the so-called genius of the Maoyu clan. The greatest genius of their clan was taught by me, so what is the point of challenging him? What a hassle, Yoyoshi muttered as he cleaned up the sink and went out. Soon he arrived at the number 7 training ground. On the way he bought a few meat buns, which were neither fat nor lean and melted in the mouth. They tasted great. Sasuke, Sakura, Yagyu came on time. When he arrived, Sasuke and Sakura were already there. The two also greeted Yagyu, and Sakura ran over and stuck to his side. After waiting for a while, Kakashi also came. Obviously he had a mission today, otherwise according to his temper, he would definitely be late for several hours today. Yesterday I gave you a mission, D-level, to help clean up the garbage in the river in the eastern suburbs of Konoha village. The reward is 5,000 taels. After the mission is completed, I, as the captain, will take 2,000 ryo, and the three of you will each take 1,000 ryo. It was the first mission, and Kakashi explained the distribution of the rewards. However, the three of them didn't care too much, because none of them were short of money. Yagyu had the support of the Moonlight family, so he didn't lack money for his daily expenses. Sasuke had been looking for a few ninjutsu in the old Uchiha site since he found them. Although the Uchiha's treasure house had been emptied, the money he found in the homes of the various clansmen was enough for him to spend his whole life. As for Sakura, she was from a petty bourgeoisie family and didn't lack money. 1,000 ryo was dispensable. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.